there, everyone. Welcome to Blue Jackets. It's a fun Blue Jackets themed podcast. My name is Kevin, and joining me tonight is my co-host, Hefty Duck. And as always, we invite people to come on the show. Whether they do or don't, different story. Maybe we'll get a guest appearance from someone. If not, there's always next time. Anyways, a lot of stuff going on in the Blue Jackets world to talk about. The Blue Jackets have played 4 games since our last show. They won 2 out of 4. They lost to the Kings in overtime. That sucked. The Blue Jackets get a big win down in Tampa Bay, beating the Lightning 5-2. Awesome game. The Blue Jackets lose to the Panthers down in Florida in overtime. That was not fun. That was stupid. And the Blue Jackets get a big win against the Flyers in Philadelphia, 2-1 in a shootout. We're going to talk about all of those games, and there were some good moments in all those games. Ohio State hockey is doing good. We're going to talk about that. The women's team has made it to the Frozen Four again. What else is new? They've done that for the 6th year in a row. So it's still cool, but it's like, okay, well, what else is new? Okay, it's kind of expected at this point. The men's team, Ohio State men's hockey team, has punched their ticket to the Big Ten championship game against Michigan, and we're going to talk about that. Big Ten hockey tournament news. You know, how did it get to the Big Ten championship where it's Ohio State and Michigan? We're going to talk about that and so much more. Welcome to the show, everyone.
Hell yeah, welcome in, everybody. Hope everyone's had a good week. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe wherever you're watching from. If you're watching from Twitter, go ahead, give us a like if you would. We don't do ad reads here. We don't do anything with revenue. So the best way to support us is the most free way as well. Just share with everyone. Also, we've been trying to grow our our YouTube channel quite a bit. So check us out over there. But oh yeah, if you want to listen to us, maybe like on your way to work or something, check us out anywhere you can find podcasts. We're on Spotify, YouTube, Google, Apple, wherever you can find podcasts, we are there. Other than that, so you may notice some of our regular listeners, we changed the intro again.
We're
experimenting with things for right now, and we will we'll have something fun here and there, probably.
It just, for me personally, we had some fun with it. That was my niece Ava had two very, that was the 2 shows for it, playing little drums, and it was good. And now we're going to try something different. And at the same time, my big thing, because I've seen this happen, where it's like, there's people who I watch on YouTube, and like they do videos, and YouTube does this goofy thing where it's like, yeah, what you're doing is okay. And then like 5 years later, they retroactively say, hey, remember when we said that thing that was okay? Well, it's not okay. And then like they do stupid stuff like, they take away the person's video that they did, or they demonetize them, or just a bunch of shenanigans because, copyright or this or that or this other junk. And, honestly, and honestly, I'm not fighting that. I don't want that. My big thing is I take about every week, I'm taking about 2 hours out of my day doing a show. And if I'm going to take 2 hours out of my day to do a show, I want something out of it. I want to be able to have a show there that I can point to people and say, hey, we did a show here. Here's, you can watch it. Not, I take 2 hours out of my day, I do the show, and then for some stupid reason, they take it away. And then I just wasted 2 hours of my day. Nothing. I don't want that. So that's why we're playing around with it right now. And for now, it's going to be, the march that Union Blue Soldiers does, which, by the way, just throwing this one out there. Check out Union Blue Soldiers. Check out Union Blue Soldiers. Check out Union Blue Soldiers, a fun Blue Jackets themed group that we do. A lot of marches and so much more. Check out Union Blue Soldiers. So, to start off the show, I would like to say a big shout out to my brother and his wife, Rachel, who last Monday, which would have been March 9th, 2026, had a kid, and it's their fourth kid, and it's a boy, and the boy is named Titus. And that's a first because they had 3 kids before this one, and they were all girls. You know, my nieces, Harper, Ava, and May, which is cool, and I like my nieces very much. But it's nice to have a boy. I'm just going to say that. It's nice to have a boy. So that, you know, being an uncle to 3 nieces was pretty cool. But being able to say that I'm an uncle to a nephew now is pretty cool. Really, really, really cool. And I got to meet him, and that was cool. And I'm, you know, looking forward to it. And shout out to my new nephew, Titus. Welcome to the world. And now it's just going to be interesting to see how things go for you. What will you be? What will you do with your life? Will you be a teacher, a doctor, a lawyer, a cop? Will you be some, you know, business guy where you have your own business and you know, it turns into something big and popular where you make a lot of money out of it? You know, you have like your own like TV show, radio show, a show like this on the internet where you make money off of it. What will you do? That will be interesting to see, and I'm interested to see how that goes. And I'm happy to say that I'm an uncle to a nephew now, and I'm excited to, you know, do boy stuff with you because, you know, can't really do boy stuff with girls, you know, and I do like my nieces very much, but, you know, sometimes some of the stuff they like to do is like, yeah, that's not for me. That's just not for me. So, you know, it is what it is. But I look forward to taking you to hockey games. You know, I will, to the day when you can come to see a Blue Jackets game with me, and I'm looking forward to that. So that's going to be cool. And of course, I'll be in Columbus the last weekend in March for 2 Blue Jackets games, and I'm going to get you a Blue Jackets puck and other Blue Jacket stuff as well. So shout out to my awesome new nephew, Titus.
Very cool.
So just wanted to say that about my new awesome nephew, Titus. That is pretty cool. But anyways.
I got a couple of shout outs myself too.
All right, we'll get you in there, then we'll say other stuff.
First, I got a big shout out for Team USA hockey. And I say hockey in the general sense of the word because it doesn't matter if you're the men's team, it doesn't matter if the women's team or the Paralympic sled hockey team. You won gold this year at the Olympics.
Damn right.
Absolutely demolished. What country was that? That's like their national sport. Right?
Oh,
remember that country? Oh, Canada, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it. I actually like a lot of people from Canada, and there's a lot of people from Canada on teams I like. So I just want to say ha.
That's right.
You know?
Hockey is ours now. It belongs to America. You don't have nothing because we beat you. We beat you in men's hockey. We beat you in women's hockey. And our paraplegics are better than you. You have nothing. And that's not all. We beat you in baseball too. You have nothing now, Canada. Nothing. America, let's go. Woo!
But yeah, this last week, the United States men's Paralympic team, sled hockey team, also won gold at the Paralympics, the Winter Paralympics. So, congrats to all of them. That was pretty freaking cool. Love to see that kind of shit. I got another congrats out here too for Mr. Kirill Marchenko of the Blue Jackets for getting his 100th career goal. Congrats to you, sir. That's a pretty big milestone. I think he's been in the league for 3 years now. He came in a little bit older. Is it four full years?
Let's see.
Like 4.5.
Is
He didn't
it 4?
spend very much time down
He did not know. It's like
the monsters.
4. I think it's 4.
Speaking of the monsters,
1, 2, 3. Yeah, it's 4.
this is kind of mean. Congrats to David Yurchek on being the newest member of whatever affiliate team you're on now. Sorry, man. Hope you do better.
He has all the talent in the world to be a good player. We've seen him do it.
And I just feel like
It just
you interrupted his development by moving so quickly.
he just
you know
needs
what?
to just put it together and fix his skating. Like the Blue Jackets have told him, fix your skating twice, and he didn't do it. And I guess the people up in Minnesota told him, fix your skating, and he didn't do it. So it's like, we've seen you be the good player. We've seen you do it with the Blue Jackets. And like I was up in Minnesota back in October for a game, and I saw him play, and I thought he looked good. But it's like, can you put it all together consistently? Can you put it all together consistently? And right now, the answer is no.
Yeah, and for a long-term solution. Yeah. So yeah. What happened to my other notes? Hold up. Oh, that's all the shout outs I got. Never mind. Oh yeah, big shout out to me and Kevin, whose birthdays it was this last weekend. Unfortunately, on the day the Blue Jackets lost, but it was still a good birthday. Great time. I got a bunch of nice things from my coworkers, my parents, and some friends. And you know, I got some you know, a lot of I probably know I have some like severe food allergy stuff, so I got a lot of snacks from people this year. I got homemade cookies, homemade cupcakes. It was definitely one of my favorite birthdays so far.
Yeah.
And then because of that, I'll tell you a little bit about mine, and then Kevin can tell you a little bit about his if you like. But yeah, so I celebrated a little bit on my birthday. I had to work. It was a long week. So I took Saturday off, and I waited till Saturday to go celebrate. And I went down to Columbus, and I stayed at one of the coolest motels I've ever seen. It was called like the Southwind Motel, and it was like vintage decorated, like everything. It felt like how like the 50s would feel, like the luxurious parts of the 50s, which would be kind of like commonplace nowadays because we can produce so many comfortable pieces of furniture. And anyway, it looked really cool. It was a really neat place. Ate a couple of good places for some food, and ate at Bonfacio's. I actually don't know how to say that, and I feel like I might even just be butchering it really bad right now. But it was really good. At the adobo ribs. Anyway, all around good birthday weekend. And then also when I was celebrating my birthday is when they won, so that was good. We'll talk about that one later. Anyway, happy birthday to you, Kevin. You want to talk about anything you did?
Yes, thank you, Hefty Duck. Yes, Hefty Duck share the same birthday, and that's March 12th. So, I hung out with my family that day. So, like, my mom, my dad was there, and like my Uncle Jeff was there. I usually see my brother and Rachel, his wife, and my nieces. That it's always been like that for years on my birthday. This year was different, and I'm not complaining. I understand why, because they just had Titus a couple days before that. My nephew Titus, so I get it. They're not really in the mood to be doing much stuff right now, so I get that. If anything, it's kind of like and I understand why they're doing this, but they're kind of like dumping my nieces on us and like, can you watch him for a little bit? I was like, okay, yeah, we can watch him a little bit, and you know, and then we'll take them home and stuff like that. Even we had we had my brother's dog Cooper for a bit, so it's like okay, not on my birthday, but like a couple days before that, so I get that too. But so I didn't normally I would have seen my brother and his wife and my nieces normally, but not this year because I get it because my nephew Titus was born a couple days before that, so I get that. So that was, but I did see my mom, my dad, and my uncle Jeff. He was there, so that was cool. A lot of birthday wishes on Facebook. That was cool, and I got a text message from my brother saying happy birthday, so that was cool. And a text message from my aunt Karen, who's up in Wisconsin. So that was cool. I see them every so often, but they're in Wisconsin, so I don't get to see them that much. So I get it. And then I had a little lunch from like this breakfast place called Midwestern Breakfast Company out in Spring Grove, Illinois. And we took that to go. I had like a little steak and eggs with like some fruit. So, that was good. And I opened up some gifts and, you have to, like you say, you got some food, well, that happened to me too. Cause I got some Chomps meat sticks that I like. Cause
I like that brand.
Yeah. See, Hefty Duck Nose, because it's just meat. There's no bad stuff in it. And then Siete chips, because again, I like it. And again, it's just like chips and avocado oil, like no bad stuff. So like my mom got me like, 2 bags of chips. So that was cool. And then I got avocado oil mayonnaise from Primal Kitchen and maple syrup, because I like that, because there's like these like microwavable like waffles that have like no bad ingredients in it that I like, so I eat that with the maple syrup and then use the maple syrup for other things too, so that was cool. I got a new TV and I appreciate that I got a new TV, but I didn't think I need it. But the reason why, because like the TV that I have in my room, it's a good TV. I like it. I don't see a reason in getting rid of it. But essentially, the reason why I got a new TV is what my mom told me is that, one day, she was cleaning my room and she turned on the TV, to watch something. And she basically told me that she didn't like the TV and the pictures sucked and all that. And that's why I have a new TV.
That's what gifts are all about. It's not anything that you need, right? It's just some things that are nice to have.
It's nice to have, but it's like I never thought about it. No, my TV's fine, but no. So it's like, so basically, I have a new TV because my mom hated the old TV that I had. And it's like, okay, I guess you get a new TV, which is kind of like why I get new pair of shoes, because if it was up to me, I'd probably just wear the same pair of shoes until there was like a hole in it. But my mom's not very fond of that, because there's been times where it's like we'll stop at like a shoe store or like a Walmart or a Meijer, like in the Columbus area or Cincinnati area, and be like, my mom's like, you're not leaving the store until you get shoes. And it's like, well, okay, fine. I kind of wear those shoes, but to tell you the truth, I just go back to wearing my old shoes. But I make my mom happy to get the shoes. It's fine. It's fine. But overall, it was a pretty good birthday. So that was the end of that. The only thing that could have made it better if the Blue Jackets won, but oh well. Still good. I'm 34, so that's good. I've made it 34 years. I made it to 34 years in this world, so that's cool. So now we got to go for 35.
It's not too big of a change.
But anyways, All right, so more Blue Jackets related stuff.
Yeah.
So we're going to start off by talking about the games here because we've had a little, more. I have other stuff, but I want to get to the games first. But anyways, so we're going to start off with the game against the Kings. The Blue Jackets played the Kings, and they lost 5-4 in overtime. That was a 6 out of 10 for me. And I'll tell you why it was a 6 out of 10 for me, is that the game starts off, and the Blue Jackets are playing a real good game. They have a 4-minute power play. They have lots of chances to score, good shifts in the offensive zone, and they can't put it away. And shortly after that, the Kings score 2 goals, and now you're down 2-0. And it's just so stupid and idiotic and frustrating. Just you can't do that. You just cannot do that. Now, they do get a goal from Connor Garland, so that was good. And the goal that he scores is a very hard goal because how he scores it, it's kind of the Blue Jackets, they have a good shift in the offensive zone, that a couple shots on goal, and then the puck kind of pops loose, and Connor Garland scores on the rebound, but it's a very hard goal for him to score because he's a right-handed shot on the right side of the ice. And when he's shooting it, because he's a right-handed shot on the right-handed side of the ice, it's at a very awkward angle for him. So the chances of him scoring are basically not very good because of that. And yet, it was a good shot by him. He found a way to score a goal, despite the fact that it was a very hard shot for him because right-handed shot on the right-handed side, on the right side of the ice, awkward angle. And he still found a way to do it, so nicely done, Connor Garland. So, that was an okay first period for me. It was okay. It was okay. Second period, it started out good because the Blue Jackets were playing a real good game, good shifts in the offensive zone. They get 2 goals to make it 3-1. One of those came from Connor Garland. So, and he's already had 2 goals for Connor Garland, so that was good. And then Denton Mateychuk also had a goal. So 3-1, and then just why we just decided to not play defense this game because bad turnovers and just leaving the goalie out to dry, not clearing the front of the net, and then the Kings get 2 quick ones again, and then it's tied up at 3. No, I know. They get 2 quick ones, so then it's 4-3 them. And then we get to the third period, Blue Jackets, again, kind of like what they did to start the first and the second, played a good game, good shifts in the offensive zone. Eventually, they get a goal by Kirill Marchenko to tie it. It's 4-4 on the power play. Good shot, Kirill Marchenko. And the thing I like about that is, it kind of took Kirill Marchenko some time to get it, but all game long, he would be trying to do these one-timers or slap shots, and it really wasn't going anywhere because the Kings would block it. So, eventually you would think, okay, you can't do this. You need to do something else. And on the goal that Kirill Marchenko scores, it's just he gets the puck and then just quickly shoots it. No BS, no messing around. No, settling the puck down or trying a slap shot or whatever. No, it just, he gets the puck and then quickly shoots it, and then he scores. So, good shot by Kirill Marchenko. It's 4-4. It goes to overtime. And that was so disgustingly bad, god-awful. What the heck was that garbage? Nonsense. Stupid, idiotic nonsense. Pathetic. It was just why? What are we doing here? Because you didn't. It was one of the worst overtime periods I've ever seen the Blue Jackets play. It was that god awful, just terrible. They did not have a shift in the offensive zone at all. They barely had the puck. And when they did, they had it in the defensive zone, and then they would get it out, but then the Kings would shoot it right back in. And it's like, stop doing that. Because you can only do that for so long before it hurts you. And what happened? By like the second or third time that the Blue Jackets get the puck in the defensive zone and they get it out and the Kings shoot it back in, the Kings score on like the third try. Just stupid. What are you doing? And like Ivan Provorov, I like you. You've been an awesome player for the Blue Jackets. A stud defensively. You're big. You're physical. You grind it out. You block shots. You're a tough SOB. You know, you've had injuries that look like, oh, that's going to hurt. That looks like he's going to be out for a bit. And no, he's back the next game. Like, he's just toughness, that good. And sometimes he does get you a goal. Usually just because it's a slap shot up high by the point and he just blows it by the goal. Like, that's what he does when he scores a goal. But this time, it's just, stupid, idiotic nonsense. What are you doing? You tried getting it out and you just passed it right to the Kings guy, and then they get it into the offensive zone. He shoots, and then they score, and it's like, are you kidding me? Like, screw you. This is stupid, and I hate it. You just pissed the game away. It did not have to be like that. And again, this issue keeps popping up. It keeps screwing the Blue Jackets because they must be a glutton for punishment, or they just don't get it. Putting guys out there in overtime that do not belong there. Why do we keep doing this? Why? Why do we keep doing this? It doesn't work, and it keeps screwing the Blue Jackets, and they lose games in overtime. Why? Why are we doing this? Why are we putting guys out there that do not belong out there? And I'm putting Ivan Provorov in that category. I don't want to see him in overtime ever again. Unless it's a last-ditch thing, you have no other options, then fine. But generally speaking, I don't want to see him out there in overtime ever again. I just don't. Or you see a guy like a Matthew Olivier. Or Cole Cylinder, I like you, but you have issues putting the puck in the net. You're good at everything else, but you have issues putting the puck in the net. I don't need that. I need guys that can put the puck in the net. It's overtime. I need to win. Who can I count on for that? Kirill Marchenko, Adam Fantilli. Give me a Mason Marchment. Give me a Zach Werenski. Give me a Denton Mateychuk. Give me a Mason Marchment. Rotate those guys. And if you want to pick another guy, fine. But that's who needs to be out there. I'm done with this stupid, idiotic nonsense where we keep putting guys out there that do not belong there in 3-on-3 overtime, and then it costs us a game. I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. Because last season, the Blue Jackets missed by one game. One game. Had they won that one game, they would have gotten in. And hockey playoffs, it doesn't matter. If you get in, anything can happen. You could get knocked out quickly, or you could go on a nice run to like the conference finals or the Stanley Cup. Maybe you win it. All it takes is win and get in. And if the Blue Jackets keep doing this thing where they screw themselves in overtime and lose, they will not make the playoffs. They will not, because you can't keep pissing away these games. You just can't. And then one last thing I'll say, and I'll get Hefty Duck in here because I've kind of gone a little rant, is I see this on Twitter. And I know why people are saying it. There's some truth to it. But at the same time, it doesn't really mean anything to me anymore. Well, it's okay. We lost. We got a point. And like this team, ahead of us lost and this team below us lost, and it's okay. Like, okay, yeah, okay, cool. We got a point. That means nothing to me anymore because I'm done with that. I want wins. That is the way that you get into the playoffs. Wins. So that you don't have to worry about, well, we need to win and have this team ahead of us lose and this team below us lose and this and that and all this other stuff. Nah. Win your games, and then you don't have to worry about that. So to finish this up, okay, first period, you get a goal from Connor Garland. Okay, second period, you get 2 big goals, Denton Mateychuk and Connor Garland. Pretty good. Third period, it was okay. You get a big goal from Kromarchenko, and then that overtime period was so god-awful, and I hated it very much. And that was really bad. Don't ever do that again. You need to start putting these games away in overtime. 6 out of 10.
Yeah, it was pretty rough. I'll give it a 6 out of 10, simply because they got a singular point and didn't just completely piss it all away and lose. They lost, but at least whatever. It wasn't 0. So Garland coming out swinging, dude. This was his second or third game out with the Blue Jackets.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, not 1 but 2 goals this game. Good for him. That was pretty cool. The Panarin bullshit was kind of a little ridiculous. For those of you who I guess don't pay attention to like all the teams, Panarin was traded from the Rangers to the LA Kings. So he went from the Blue Jackets to the Rangers, who didn't do anything in all his years there, and now he's over at the Kings, who we'll see how they do this year. Anyway, that's a little shade for those of you on the audio who can't see my face right now. Yeah, Kromarchenko with that power play goal was really nice. I don't remember exactly what happened between Lawton and Marchment, but also Lawton is now on the Kings too, for anyone out there who wasn't aware. Scott Lawton. But he had interference against Mason Marchment, in which Kromarchenko capitalized on, tied the game up to take him into overtime. Something I was talking about before the show is that I feel like we rarely see the Blue Jackets coming back for the tie to go into overtime. I feel like this whole season it's been the other way around. It's been the other team coming back and getting that tying goal to take it in overtime, which we'll see later. We'll talk about that later. But I'm gonna break this overtime down just a little bit. 1 second. I'm trying to not yawn.
Bingo card.
It's the first time I talk for an extended time. It's for every single episode, and I don't like to yawn on camera because y'all, it's the internet. Anyway, yeah. So the ending of this, it was very similar as one of the last ones that they lost in overtime, where the other team did a line change, and for whatever reason, okay, and this is one too where we had the guys out there that we wanted out there. We had Fantilli, we had Renzi, we had Marchenko out there. Personally, I think that there should have been someone like a little more defensive minded than Fantilli or Marchenko. I only say that because, no shade throwing here, Fantilli has one of the lowest plus minuses on the team, and it is what it is. Maybe like a Sivo, because that would put you a second defenseman, but both are pretty offensively minded. And you have Marchenko out there, your number 1 goal scorer, that one guy who can just take it and put it away. But I don't mind this lineup. I really don't. I think it's maybe Fantilli's a bit younger than those guys, maybe a little bit more inexperienced, and maybe that's what happened here, because same with the last time, the Kings went to go for a line change. It's 3-on-3, so you don't have to keep track of that many guys. Although there's only 3 of you guys on your team too. So when that happens, Fantilli kind of perceives that out of the corner of his eye, or just doesn't, kind of takes it out, and he crosses the ice to double team the other LA King at the top. I wish I would have wrote down who the other line was, but and you notice they all realized they fucked up. They all realized at the same time when they were 10 feet from each other on the same side of the ice at the top of the zone. And there was an absolute just open player across the ice where Fantilli had just been. They're all the play's over here now, and they are facing and going this other direction. So I get wanting to put that forecheck, wanting to put that pressure on. It's not forecheck, I guess, if you're in the defense. But I get wanting to put that pressure on, and because you can force that turnover, you can force that mistake, but it was poor timing and then poor positioning. Just when you're in 3-on-3 and the other team is not within 10 feet of each other, all 3 of them, I've seen that a lot this year. Some people might refer to that or call it even turtling a bit. I don't think that's really what it was in this case, but we say that a lot in, when it's getting in a third period. And other team scores to tie it. Anyway, that's just my analysis on the ending of that. It's really mistakes happen. They're gonna happen. They can't happen like that this close to being in the playoffs.
No.
At this time of year. They can't happen any time of year, because if you would have just never mind. Hindsight's 2020. Anyway, yeah, 6 out of 10 because you got a point. It could have been a lot better. Lot better. Penalties were kind of stupid. Delay a game over the glass, one of my least favorite penalties to see happen. It happens, but it should be more avoidable. Yeah, they weren't too bad either way, this game actually, but shots are pretty even. Face-offs, the Jackets has been struggling with their face-offs as of late, unfortunately. They Kings had about 2/3 of the face-offs in this one. 20 minutes, not a big deal. Kings were throwing hits. Not sure why the Jackets quite weren't as much. 25-12 on hits. That's generally, if a team's losing, you see them having the more hits and whatnot. But anyway, good game, Connor Garland. Everyone else, and Matejchuk. Everyone else, there's always next time. Yeah, Tampa.
So, all right, the Blue Jackets play a good game against the Tampa Bay Lightning. They beat them 5-2. First period was an okay period for me. They do give up a goal. They're down. They're playing. They had some good shifts in the offensive zone. They have some chances. They don't put it away, and then they do give up a goal. It's 1-0. So it was an okay first period for me. Second period, that was better. You score 3 goals in the second period. You get a big goal from Ivan Provorov, where again he does what he does, where it's just a shot from up high by the point. He shoots it and he scores. That's what he does. That's what Ivan Provorov does when he scores a goal for the Blue Jackets. And then you get another goal from Connor Garland. And then you get a big goal from Kirill Marchenko on the power play. Kirill Marchenko, he's always been a good player for the Blue Jackets. He's always had a good shot. But I really do believe that this year is when he's really stepped it up with his shot, that it's even better than what it actually is. Because it's getting to the point now or he does a shot and he just blows it by the goalie and he has no chance. The goalie has no chance. And that's what happened on that shot is that power play goal. And Adam Fantilli also set this up perfectly because he has the puck in the middle of the ice. And it kind of looks like he's going to shoot it. So then like the defense kind of bites on it and they try and stop him from shooting it. And at the last moment, Fantilli passes it over to Marchenko, and Marchenko shoots and scores. And Kirill Marchenko just wired it. Just a rocket, a booming slap shot off the stick and in the net, and he just blows it by the goalie. The goalie had no chance for Tampa Bay. That was Andrei Vasilevsky. No chance on that shot. And we're seeing more and more of those types of shots from Kirill Marchenko, where he just has a shot where he puts everything he has into it, and he just, like a slap shot, and just blows it right past the goalie. No chance. So, like, Kirill Marchenko was already good, and he already has an awesome shot. But now we're seeing it even better, and it's like, oh, watch out. Now you're screwed. Now you're screwed because he's even better now. So, good shot. They do give up another goal because, look, you didn't clear the front of the net, and you let a guy kind of stand in front of the net, and then puck bounces off a stick and goes in. So, 9 out of 10 third period. 9 out of 10 second period for me. Now, the third period, 10 out of 10. That was one of the best third periods that you have played all season long because defensively, you really locked it down. And for the most part, you didn't really give the Lightning anything to shoot at. And when you did, you were either there to block the shot or Jack Greaves was there to make the save. So they really didn't get anything. And you get two big goals in this period. You get one from Connor Garland on the power play, and you get one from Dante Fabro. So, like, I've had issues with the Blue Jackets this season where they have chances to put it away, and then they don't, and then it comes back to screw them. This is not one of those days. This is not one of those games. They had chances to put it away, and they did. And they didn't get screwed, which is good. The power play goal that Connor Garland scored, it was just perfect. It was a good shift in the offensive zone. Blue Jackets have a couple chances. And eventually Connor Garland scores because the Blue Jackets, it's a shot from like up high, and then it gets kind of right in front of the net. And the Blue Jackets kind of whack at it like one or two times. They don't get it. And then like the puck pops loose to Connor Garland, and then he kind of just quickly backhands it in. And good goal. So, and good, puck pops. Sean Monahan set it up. Puck pops loose. Good pass to Connor Garland. And it was just awesome play. The Dante Fabro goal, he scored it from like way into the defensive zone. He's like right by the net. He was that deep. And like Tampa Bay had pulled the goalie, and I didn't even know that. And like Fabro scored, and because they went to commercial break, and then they go, and then it's a face-off, and the Blue Jackets win the face-off, and then Dante Fabro fires it down the ice, and it goes in the net. And I'm like, yeah, all right, yeah. And I'm like, wait, the Lightning pulled the goalie? Because I didn't know that. But no, they pulled the goalie. And like, it was kind of a gamble because that could have easily backfired. Could have been icing. And then maybe you could have gotten scored on, which would have been bad. But like Dante Fabro, literally, the Blue Jackets win the faceoff, and Dante Fabro gets the puck and literally just chucks it down the ice, and it goes into the net. So it's like, all right, cool. And then after that, the Blue Jackets locked it down defensively, and the Lightning had nothing after that. Because anytime that the Lightning tried to shoot it, it got blocked. and it just got shut down. That was it. That was the end of that. And overall, and then final horn sounds, Blue Jackets win 5-2, and overall, that was a pretty good game. It was one of the best games you've played all season long, one of the best road games that you've played all season long. It's an 8 out of 10 for me. The only two things that I'm dinging you for is you gave up 2 goals. Everything else was perfect. It was awesome. 8 out of 10. Good game, Blue Jackets. Nicely done.
Yeah, pretty damn good game overall. The goals that were scored could have been avoidable, I'm sure, by the Tampa Bay Lightning anyway. Overall, pretty damn good game. Notes here. Tampa, all right. Connor Garland, what a pickup. Damn. A lot of goals in a short amount of time. Get 2 more goals this game. So, doing what he was hired to do. Absolutely steps on the ice and it goes. The first game out, there's a little bit of mishap. Like I was referring to last game, I was referring to the his first game with the Blue Jackets in the 3-on-3 overtime where they messed up with anyway. Not important. But yeah, overall I'm pretty impressed by what I've seen so far. I mean, it's a small sample size, but when you're scoring goals and helping your team win, no matter what team you're on, sick. I love to see it, especially seeing that, the contract came with him. Waddell's done a pretty decent job. We aren't 100% locked for the playoffs. Stanley Cup odds are like low, but not zero. Anyway, that first goal that was scored though, they were just like puck watching and there was bad momentum. I'm pretty sure that after that first period they were talked to in the locker room and they came out just all ready to go. Ivan Provorov with his signature slapper. That was pretty cool. Garland scored. Komarchenko picks up the power play goal. There was quite a few penalties at one time. Multiple were on like the same people. This is for some fighting and stuff like that. Mostly, so there was a fight between Mosier and Sillinger, JJ Mosier. So Cole Sillinger he was assessed a 2-minute for elbowing Mosier, and then Mosier was a 2 minutes for unsportsmanlike against Sillinger. And then they both got 5 for fighting. So that was kind of towards the end of that first period. Just something that I always like to bring up the fights because it's entertaining to me. And anyway, so yeah, second period, Blue Jackets, they had a couple more penalties. It was some dangerous plays. Luckily, Tampa Bay did not capitalize on any of those. The Blue Jackets did on theirs, though. So what's important is they were 2 for 4, and Tampa Bay was 0 for 3. That's what's really important at the end of it. Face-offs, they weren't better than the Lightning, but they were better than the game before. It was like 40% to 60% roughly. Could have done a little better. Hits aren't quite as high as they were at one point, but I think that as we're getting closer to the playoffs, I think that's not a bad thing because we've seen plenty of good players, good healthy players go in for a hard hit and injure themselves. Speaking of injuries, Goodbranson was not back out for the game on Saturday then after being hit by getting into it. I don't know, something with Panarin. I don't know. It was kind of douchey, and then Panarin talking shit.
Because you know what it was, because our Eric Goodbranson gave him a pretty good hit, and it was a good hit, and he got whacked into the boards pretty good and it was a good hit. And Artemi Panarin wasn't very fond about that, which I get why. But, then Panarin and then Gabranson was kind of already falling down. Later on in the game, Gabranson was kind of already falling down. And then Panarin kind of takes like a little hit at him right there, and that's why he's hurt. And Gabranson was not very fond of that, and I get why. So that's why he's not playing right now, though he was close. He could have played in the game against the Flyers, but the belief is he probably plays in one of the games this upcoming week.
Yeah. Yeah, especially this time of year, no need to Gabranson is an important guy, but no need to feel the need to rush back and injure yourself worse with something. But yeah, he did not play on Saturday's game. But so the Blue Jackets, we all remember, we all know, everybody who's ever been in Blue Jackets lore knows they swept the Tampa Bay Lightning years ago. We know that.
Yes.
Fantastic. Now, they did it again this year. Not in the playoffs, but in the season. So that was the third and final game against the Tampa Bay Lightning. They won in October 3-2, January 8-5, and then March 10th 5-2. So good on you guys. That's what we need to be seeing. Full just wins. No overtime bullshit. No shootouts. Nothing. Nah. I haven't minded the shootouts as much this year, but we'll get into that later.
Yeah.
It's a little better. But yeah, overall, I mean, I got to give that one probably a good 8 or 9 out of 10. Those 2 goals, you could have been avoidable. But 5-2 is a great game. Mm-hmm. And it's just especially the way that everything was cleaned up, shored up, and just straight to the point in the third period.
Yes. And another thing that has been so important to the Blue Jackets this season is that their road power play has been so good this season. It's top 10 in hockey this season. And it's a big reason why that they've been winning games on the road and why they've been so much better on the road this season. Because last season, there were good things about the Blue Jackets and bad things. And one of the bad things about the Blue Jackets is that they were god-awful on the road. 26 of their 41 wins that the Blue Jackets had last season were at home. They just, for the most part, didn't do a really good job on the road. And this year, they're much better on the road. And another reason why, in part, they probably didn't make the playoffs is that last year their power play on the road was god-awful. It was really bad. There's 9 times out of 10, they didn't score a goal. On the flip side of that, last season, the power play at home was really good. It was over 26%. It just seemed like just about every, shift in the power play, anytime they had the power play, they'd score a goal. And that was in part a big reason why they were so good at home last season. But this year, it's the opposite. The home power play is awful, and the road power play is really good. So, having a good road power play has definitely helped the Blue Jackets win some games this season and have some improvement and be much better on the road, which is good to see.
Is that all you got for that game?
That's all I got for that. So we'll move on to the next game. So the Blue Jackets played a game against the Panthers down in Florida. They lost that one 2-1, and you know what? I'm sorry. This is a 4 out of 10 for me. And I'll tell you why. Because, first off, you had so many chances to put that one away, and you didn't do it. You could only get 1 goal. And it was a big goal from Adam Fantilli. So that was good. You got the goal from Adam Fantilli. That was good. But you should have gotten more. Because first 2 periods of that game, you were playing a really good game and you were dominating the Panthers. They really had nothing to answer. They really didn't have anything against the Blue Jackets. The Blue Jackets would just have shift after shift of good shifts in the offensive zone, and the Panthers would have nothing for it. They had all these chances, and they didn't really put it away, minus the Adam Fantilli goal. And then, again, why that matters, because it's happened to the Blue Jackets this season, where they play a good game, good shifts in the offensive zone, and they have so many chances to put it away, and they don't do it. Or maybe they'll only get like one goal, and then it comes back to screw them. The other team will get another goal or two, and then the Blue Jackets lose because you had so many chances to put it away, and then you didn't do it. And that's exactly what happened with the Blue Jackets this game. 2 good periods, they played a good game, so many chances to put it away, and you really couldn't do it other than the Adam Fantilli goal. And then the third period, I don't understand why, but you just stopped playing. It was god-awful. You stop playing, the Panthers get a goal, it's tied up at 1, and then we get to overtime again, and the Blue Jackets poop their pants again in overtime. The overtime struggles continue. Like, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? Why do the Blue Jackets struggle in overtime? This should not be a thing. With the talent that they have, they should not be struggling in overtime. You should be having much better success. You should be putting these games away at a much better rate, but you're not. You have a Zach Werenski. You have an Adam Fantilli. You have a Kirill Marchenko. You have a Kent Johnson. You have a Mason Marchment. Other guys, too, that are good players and would be perfect for a 3-on-3 overtime. And yet, you don't put it away. And it comes back to hurt you. And then you lose in overtime. And what happened this time? So, the Blue Jackets, they win the face-off. They get a shift in the offensive zone. Zach Werenski shoots it, and he misses the net. And this is like one of the biggest no-nos in hockey when it comes to overtime. Because it's 3-on-3, you do not have a lot of room for error there. You just don't. Defensively, you have to think it very smart. Even offensively, you have to be careful, because one bad mistake, it goes the other way, and more likely than not, it's in the back of your net, and you lose. So if you shoot it, even if you don't get the goal, you need to put it on the net. Because A, even if you don't get it, you can go get the puck and try and score, shoot. Or B, even if you don't get it, you put it on the net. The other team has to get the puck, and they have to settle it down and, get organized. And if you have to do a line change, that gives you some time to do a line change. But if you do what Zach Werenski did, which is shoot the puck and it's high and you miss the net, what happens? Puck bounces the other way. The Panthers get it. And this time, the Blue Jackets are lucky they didn't score, because that's normally what happens. Someone shoots it high, misses the net. The other team gets it. It goes down to the other side of the ice. They shoot and score. Because that's how 3-on-3 overtime works. It can just happen that quickly, just like that. It didn't happen this time. Blue Jackets still get screwed, though, because Zach Werenski shoots it high, he misses the net, puck goes the other way, it becomes a breakaway for the Panthers. And Adam Fantilli, God bless you, man. You try your best. You really hustled to get back, and you get called for a tripping call. Did you trip Matthew Tkachuk of the Panthers? Yes. However, though, that should not have been called. Why? Because Matthew Tkachuk did a dirty move, kind of a bum move in my opinion, where he sold it. He really sold it, because as soon as that skate touches him, he just kind of falls down way too easy, and it gets called. and eventually the Panthers go on the power play, they shoot and score, Blue Jackets lose. It should not have been like that. If you really want to call it, you call the trip and you call the embellishment 4-on-4. But they didn't do that. They fell for this stupid ass bum move that Tkachuk did. And eventually the Blue Jackets lose. So 4 out of 10. You had so many chances to put it away. And you, for the most part, you really couldn't do it. You only got 1 goal. You played 2 good periods. And then for whatever reason, you decided to stop playing in the 3rd period. You give up a goal. And then that overtime period was god awful again. And it screwed the Blue Jackets. Again, I said this a game against the Kings. But the Blue Jackets have to stop pissing it away in overtime. Stop doing this. If it gets to overtime, you need to put it away now. You need to put it away, win these games. Because you don't want to be in the same spot that you were in last season where, man, we had a good season, but we just missed it by a game. And had we won that game, we would have gotten in. I do not want that for the Blue Jackets. You're in overtime. Put it away. You need to put it away and win it. But you didn't do that. So put all that stuff together. 4 out of 10. It needs to be better.
Yeah, this was pretty rough. Adam Fantilli coming out here trying his best. His 19th goal of the game. 9th goal of the game, damn. Goal of the year.
Yeah.
With Mason Marchman's 18th assist. It was pretty good. That got me the hopes up because, first period comes out. The Blue Jackets aren't scoring, but neither is the Panthers, right? In fact, they get out of that first period with only letting Florida take 3 shots in that first period. That is fantastic because, if you let them only take 3 shots, you have a higher probability of one of them not going in because what if it's 1 out of 10? That's not 1 out of 3. Anyway, love to see it. Especially this kind of team with this kind of caliber. Shutting them down, just not even letting them shoot the shots. This is shots on goal, not attempts, by the way. Blue Jackets had 14 shots on goal in that first period. So, almost 5 times as many as the other team. But second period comes around too. They held Florida to 7 shots. Blue Jackets got 10 shots of their own, and that is when Adam Fantilli scored, was in the second period. Third period comes around, and now Florida's holding the Blue Jackets to some lower shots. 7 shots for them. Florida had 6 shots, and one of them was during the power play, and it was a goal. Wait, I'm really oh, right. So the power play was a rollover from the second period too, because the third period had no penalties, yet there was a power play goal scored. You don't see that every day, but at the very end of the period, it's literally at the 20-minute mark is when it's marked that Severson has 2 minutes for holding AJ Greer. At the 20-minute mark, what? I don't know. That was dumb to me. Even just as dumb was the penalty in the overtime. So that led to the 4-on-3, and that led to a very tough time for the Blue Jackets, who already kind of struggle in overtime sometimes. That was kind of the same thing that happens all the time. They're in good formation. Now it's 4v3, so what you got to do what you got to do. So they're, playing in a 1-2 kind of configuration, a triangular configuration in front of the goal. And the Panthers have one guy kind of in front of the goalie, and then the other 3 is a 1-2-1 kind of situation for them. And they just were able to move the puck across the ice fast enough to the open guy like they did in the Kings overtime, or the Kings did in the Kings overtime. And the overtime the other week, what happens? Everyone's looking. one direction, one puck. You gotta know where the puck is. You gotta look at it. Not saying that, but you gotta remember that there's a guy over here, over there, and it's 4-on-3, so it's tricky. But as someone who's played a lot of defense in a lot of sports, there is, I guess, ways to at least try to like mitigate that a little bit better. But here we are talking about a 1-2 loss. Now, this was slightly luckier that they got 1 point out of this game. Better than 0, but not near as good as 2. And at this point in the season, that's what you need. You need 2. The Blue Jackets, if they would have won both these overtime losses this last week, they would be, I believe. Let me look at this again real quick. Because I think they have 79 points right now. Yeah, Pittsburgh and the New York Islanders both have 81 points. So those 2 points would have them tied at second, basically, for the division, the Metropolitan Division.
Yep.
Every point matters. Every single point matters. So, yeah, I'll give them the 6 out of 10, like with the other one, because of the point that they got. But this is not good. Like the first period went so well. I really feel like the Blue Jackets should have scored at that first period. Bobrovsky was, blocking shots left and right. But yeah, rough time, guys. It was on my birthday too. How dare you? Yeah. Anyway, on to the next, the Flyers.
So, all right, the Blue Jackets played a game against the Philadelphia Flyers in Philadelphia. That was a 9 out of 10 for me. I'm going to tell you why. So, 9 out of 10 first period. You're playing a good game, good shifts in the offensive zone, playing some pretty good defense, and you get a big goal from Kirill Marchenko. And why I like this goal is that you did not give up on this play. You had a good shift in the offensive zone, a couple shots on goal. You didn't get it, but then you kept working at it. You kept grinding it out hustling the Flyers, and then eventually you get the puck, and then it pops loose. You pass it to Kirill Marchenko, and then he shoots and scores. Awesome team effort. You definitely earned that goal. 9 out of 10, and then you do give up a goal there, so I'm dinging you for that. But other than that, it was a pretty good period, 9 out of 10. So second period was, it was okay. You're doing stupid penalties, but you killed it off, so that's good. That's good. You did have some good chances to score. You didn't put it away. And, third period was okay. Again, you had to kill off a 4-minute power play. I would rather that you not do that, but you did, and that's good. And that happens because Damon Severson, who has this season, I would say, had a rare brain fart moment. He just let his emotion get the best of him. Now, I understand why he feels that way, and I can see why he did what he did, which is in this game, he got whacked into the boards twice, pretty good. And you can make the argument that it should have been boarding. It didn't get called, whatever. But it was too much because, okay, you give a guy like 1 or 2 good shots, that's fine. It says, hey, I don't like what you did. Here's 1 or 2 good shots. Fine, whatever. Like, you do that, they're not calling anything on you because that's just part of hockey. Like, they get it. They let the players have like 1 or 2 good shots, get their feelings out. But then when you keep doing it and you keep giving the dude shots and whack, 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 you're going to get called. And you just can't do that. You need to be smarter about that. Like, we've said this many times over the years doing shows where Damon Severson can be bad and he can be good, and when he's bad, it's bad, and he'll have like a brain fart moment that's bad, and it leads to like a goal or some other dumb mistake. But then when he's good, he's really good. This entire season, we've only, up until that moment, we have only seen good Damon Severson. We have not seen bad Damon Severson. We have not seen the Damon Severson that does stupid brain farts up until that moment, which he, my opinion, did a stupid brain fart. Like, dude, you got to keep your cool there. I get it. You don't like it that you got whacked into the boards pretty good. And you could make the argument that should have been a boarding call. I get it. But keep your cool, man. You don't want to give the other team momentum. So you got lucky there, because in the end, the Blue Jackets kill off the penalty. It was an okay third period. They did have some good chances to score. They don't do it. So it was okay. Now, it gets to overtime. Now, it still wasn't a very good overtime period, but it was way better than what they did against the Kings and the Panthers. Because, well, first off, they didn't lose the game there. So, like, that was good. But, like, they had some chances to put it away. They didn't do it. And then it's not just a Blue Jackets thing, but it was from both teams. It was just kind of like slow. Like, both teams didn't. It was almost like they had a trouble getting it into each other's offensive zone, and they were just kind of slow and just like waiting for that perfect shot. And it's like, we gonna get going here or what? You gonna put it on the net? You're just gonna look for that perfect shot, because that's basically what it was. So, for the most part, yes, both teams had some chances to score, but for the most part, it's like, we're just gonna a lackadaisical stroll, and we're just gonna take our time. Whatever. Who cares? We're just gonna look for the perfect shot and skate around the offensive zone, and okay, whatever. Whatever. So it is okay, but we get to a shootout, and the Blue Jackets win the game. Why? Because the Blue Jackets are really good in shootouts. They are now 6-1 in shootouts this season. And going back to last season, they were also really good in shootouts. So the last 2 seasons, the Blue Jackets have been really good in shootouts. That, generally speaking, it's basically a guaranteed win for the Blue Jackets if it gets to a shootout. Like, if you're playing the Blue Jackets and it's in a shootout, you don't want that. Because more likely than not, generally speaking, you're going to lose. Why? Because Elvis Merzlikins is really good in shootouts. Like, he doesn't really the last 2 seasons, he doesn't lose shootouts. And even Jet Greaves, who was in this game, and he played a big game for the Blue Jackets, a good game, made some big saves. And even he's getting better at shootouts. I'd still probably pick Elvis Merzlikins, as my preferred shootout goalie. But Jet Greaves is getting better at shootouts. And if the Flyers had 3 shooters, Jet Greaves stops all 3 shots. And then we get to Kirill Marchenko. He scores a big goal in the shootout. Blue Jackets win 2-1. Kirill Marchenko is just absolutely money in the shootout, ridiculously good. Again, it basically, generally speaking, it's a guaranteed goal when he's on the ice during the shootout, because he's that ridiculously good in shootouts. And the Blue Jackets are ridiculously good in shootouts. It's basically a guaranteed win, generally speaking. So overall, pretty good game by the Blue Jackets. You only gave the one thing I don't like is you gave up the goal, but other than that, awesome game. 9 out of 10. Nicely done, Blue Jackets.
Yeah, pretty damn good game overall. Yeah, there's a little bit of shenanigans there in the second period, but I think we can kind of overlook that with the win. Overall, so it's pretty damn good. I have one complaint real quick, I guess. So you know how like the NHL does like the 3 stars the game,
Yeah.
right? And I forget exactly how that is decided. And you know what? I think it might be decided before the end of the game too, like before the very end. I forget. But the 3 stars of the game, obviously the first star is Kirill Marchenko because he scored the 1 goal for the Blue Jackets during the game and the shootout winner, right? Kirill Marchenko shootout winner. That's really good. Sick. Love it. The second star of the game is not Alex Bump from the Philadelphia Flyers, who got the other goal during regulation in this game. It's Trevor Zegras. So I looked at the box score. I'm like, well, maybe he had a bunch of blocks and shots or something like that. And I look at the box score for the Flyers. He has 4 shots on goal, 2 hits, 2 giveaways, 20% faceoff percentage. Why the hell are you the second star of the game?
Yeah.
Just because your name's popular? I don't know. I have zero clue why he is listed as the second star of the game on this. Because if anyone deserved it, it would probably be the other guy that scored in the game, right? So let's look at the third one. Maybe that's where he's at. D. Barkey. Brother, I don't even know your first name by just seeing your Denver Barkey. Or that. I whatever. So I was like, okay, well, let's look at his stats. Let's see. He's a center, so maybe he had a bunch of giveaway or a bunch of takeaways and a bunch of whatnot, whatever. So, we go back over to the box score. The Flyers. This guy's name was Barkey. 12 minutes of ice time. Okay, cool. 18 shifts. Okay, so 1 block, 3 hits. Gets you third star of the game. I don't know, like, how does this, like, what? Because so both players scored in the first period. So by the end of the game, even if like they were doing like the little voting thing or whatever they do in the media booth, but at that point, like it was still well known that there was 2 guys who scored, and there was 4 assists. 2 first assists and 2 secondary assists. So why is Adam Fantilli or Damon Severson not at least? So why is Alex Bump not the second star? He scored, and then Fantilli or Severson. Well, Fantilli for being the primary assist for the 1 goal that Blue Jackets scored, who the team that won the game. Who even is Denver Barkey? Like, no offense, man. You're in the NHL. You're doing good in life. Great. But what warranted this? Especially when they lost. I don't fucking know, dude. That shit it really bothers me when I feel like the Blue Jackets feel like they get snubbed sometimes. I mean, not that the Flyers are like the biggest name in hockey, but I just feel like they get snubbed sometimes. That's Ohio sports for you. But 13 shots in the first period against Philadelphia, 6. 8 shots in the second against Philadelphia, 5, and then they slowed down 7-7, 7 shots each for each team in the third period. So you could tell that by the end of the game, both teams were probably trying to play a little more defense and whatnot. The Blue Jackets, do you know how many shots they had in overtime?
No.
None. 0. Not a single shot on goal. I don't know about attempts. Philadelphia had 1 shot on goal in overtime, so it's not like it was like a big separation. It's just like, damn. Just rip one. Penalty minutes were kind of shit for the Blue Jackets. Hits are not too far off. Yeah, everything's not too terribly far off in this game. Pretty even game, but Blue Jackets came out on top with the shootout. So I was watching this game. I was watching the end of it. I was watching this with a friend, and as soon as it went to, like, I was, nail biting watching the overtime, thinking, "Oh shit, they just lost 2 overtimes. That's what's gonna happen here. Oh my god, oh my god." Then it gets to the shootout, and as soon as the overtime ends, I go, "They got this." I could turn it off, and I just know that they won already because it's so automatic, and it's. Dude, unfortunately, Ken Johnson and Fantilli missed. So did Michkov, Zegras, and Konechny. And Kirill Marchenko, who had been 100% this entire season, he missed one shootout shot in January. One this entire year. There was a stat I saw earlier. Let's see. I think I might have saved it. I want to read it out. It was yeah. So this was from Big Head Hockey. At Big Head Hockey. It's HCY or HCKY on X or Twitter. And so Kirill Marchenko, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 out of 7 shots this year. He is 66.7% in his career with penalty shots. That is the highest percentage of anyone in NHL history with a minimum of 15 shots. So, yeah, given his little career he's still pretty early in his career, and given that, you know, there could be many years to raise or lower that percentage, that's still incredibly impressive. To be there at all, like it says, with a minimum of 15 shots, because, yeah, I mean, when you really think about how many shootouts there are in a year, I feel like the Blue Jackets have had more than they should have this year. I mean, that's 7 different shootouts that they've been in. Have they lost any this year? Any of the shootouts? I think even the one that is the one that Marchenko missed.
No, they lost the one against the Rangers in November.
Oh, November 15th. Okay.
Because the Rangers, that's a story in itself, where it's like this season, they, as of right now, they are god awful at home, but yet for whatever reason they're good on the road. And people in the hockey world of all walks of life are like looking at the Rangers like, how come you suck at home but you're so good on the road? I just don't get it. And that's kind of what happened, is that, you know, the Blue Jackets played a home game against the Rangers and they got the road Rangers and they lost. But ever since then, every other shootout the Blue Jackets have been in, they've won in, because the Blue Jackets are good at shootouts. You know, kind of helps when you have a guy like a Kent Johnson or Adam Fantilli or Kirill Marchenko who can get you a goal in the shootout.
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely. That's why I was like, yeah, well, it's funny how the anxiety I have of the overtimes, how much that goes away as soon as the overtime is over, and
Yeah.
like it's like, oh, okay, they're doing this thing again. Okay, we're good.
Yeah.
So that was the second game against the Flyers that the Blue Jackets won this year. They're going to meet them one more time in just about 8 days. On March 24th, they're going to be in Philadelphia again for the final meetup of the year. These are vital games for teams at this time. Philadelphia is a little far out of the playoff talk than the Blue Jackets are, with only 74 points, but they're tied up with the Caps right now, a little further back. But important games. All these games are incredibly important. And, you know, just to kind of compare things throughout the league again real quick, the Blue Jackets are sitting with 79 points. That would put them in 4th in the Western Conference, the entire conference, 4th. Right after Minnesota and in front of Anaheim. So something to always keep into a little bit of context with how we talk about the East, because it's well known. It's a it's a tougher conference. I wish that it could be more, figure out how to be more even with it somehow. I don't understand how there's this big of a separation.
Yeah.
Even looking at the West, though, like the top team, Colorado, 97 points. Okay, fantastic where they're at. They're a lock. They're a lock for the playoffs. Then we look at Vancouver, 48 points, 48 to 97 points. That's a 49-point difference.
Yeah.
49. That's like 24 games difference. 25 games difference worth of points.
Yeah.
a whole 30-year fucking season.
Yeah.
I get that. Someone's got to lose. Someone's got to lose. Someone's got to win every game. Doesn't matter. And some people are just going to do that more than others. But like, damn, it's when you look at the East, it's a good separation too. 90 points by Carolina in first, 64 by the Rangers in last. That is still 26. That's 26-point difference. So there's what, a 17-point difference between last place in the East and last place in the West.
Yeah.
And other than that, like some of the other scores are kind of even throughout it. It's just, man.
It's always been like that though, where the Eastern Conference is just so tough from top to bottom, and then the Western Conference has always just been so weak compared to the Eastern Conference. It's always been like that.
Well, even looking at Florida this year too, like they're struggling in the Eastern Conference hard.
Yeah.
I mean, they have 69 points.
Yeah.
Nice. But like they're 10 points back from the Blue Jackets right now.
Yeah.
Like they're looking at the draft. They're hyping up for it right now. I guarantee it. And they just came off back-to-backs.
Well, 3 trips to the Stanley Cup final, and you won 2 of them. And you know what? I understand. To a certain extent, it is disappointing from a team like that. You should be good, and at minimum, you should be in the playoffs fighting. You should be fighting for a playoff spot in the playoff, and then get to the playoffs, and then see how far you can go. Like that's where it should be at a minimum for them. But I also understand where they are right now is because they've had some injuries that hasn't helped. But at the same time, there is negative consequences for doing what they've done, which is playing the Stanley Cup final the last 3 seasons. What are the negative consequences of that? Is that you don't have a lot of time to rest and get ready for next season. You go from training camp in September and the preseason games, and you go through all the regular season from October to April, and you go all the way to June in the Stanley Cup final, and then for 3 years in a row, you get told, well, you have to quickly turn around and get ready for the next season. You can only do that for so long because eventually you have to pay the bill, and the bill is you have to pay is that you are so tired and so out of it because you played so much hockey that you're beat up and tired, and that you're not going to be as good. And that's what the Panthers are doing right now. Is they're paying the bill has come, and it's time to pay the bill. And you have played all that hockey, and you're just not going to be as good anymore because you're just so beat up and tired that it could, yes, you want to be in the playoffs again, and maybe you can get another Stanley Cup, but at the same time, it would do you some good if you miss the playoffs so that you can have a full off season to rest and get ready to go for next season so that you're not so tired and beat up.
Yeah, I mean they call it the the Stanley Cup hangover for a reason, and pushing your team that far for 3 years. I mean, you got to imagine too that by this time, there's no way you can keep that team together.
Yeah.
When people, as soon as if you're on a Stanley Cup winning team, you're slightly more valuable, and somewhere else might pay you more. Also, keeping the coaching together, just everything for 3 straight years doing the exact same thing the exact same way. Got to be tough. Got to be very tough. I think that's part of why we see Colorado having such a good season last year, also having a good season this year, because they, the other thing about it too is you play longer into the summer or
Yep.
well, spring, summer, damn near summer, to the point where you don't have as much time to recover between like after the season, especially if you win. You got parades, you got to go meet people all the time. You get your chance with the cup, you got to take it around. Your summer is going to be busy as hell.
Yep.
And to do that, have won that twice in the past 3 times. It's no surprise. I'm kind of glad to see it at this point too. You got to bow out at some point. If it's the same team that wins every year, what's the point? What's even the point? But that's hockey for you. So yeah, just still, I'm gonna go over these fucking playoff odds just real quick if I can find my proper. Oh, here we go. Okay. So I get all these odds from Money Puck itself. Very popular site. If none of you are familiar with it, it's very handy for shit like this. It visualizes the percentage playoffs, and I'm not exactly sure how it's calculated, but there is a few teams on here that are at 100%. The Dallas Stars, Minnesota Wild, Colorado Avalanche. At 99.97% is the Carolina Hurricanes. 99.4%, the Buffalo Sabres out of nowhere. Absolutely throwing out, just being really fucking good this year. We got the Tampa Bay Lightning at 98%. How about a rematch there? That'd be kind of cool. We got the Vegas Golden Knights at 90%, Anaheim at 95%. I don't get it, man. Like, these teams aren't as good as the Blue Jackets. But Mammoth at 85%. Well, some other big percentages here. Boston 69%. The Penguins at a 77% chance. I think the Blue Jackets at 68.6%. It could be bigger. It could be better, but that's the highest percentage I think we've seen in recent years.
Yes.
Sandwich right next to them. The Devils with a 0.3%. Blackhawks with 0.2%.
Hey, still in it.
All these guys aren't going for the Stanley Cup. They're going for the what's that kid's name that's coming up right now? What's the big draft pick guy this year? McKenna?
Gavin McKenna's at Penn State, where Jackson Smith, the Blue Jackets prospect, is also at Penn State.
Right. So the McKenna Cup. That's what they're all going for. So, odds might be, over 50% in our favor, but it doesn't mean it's a lock. They still got to win out some of these last games. And, good luck to them. So, what are you thinking on the possible potential playoff odds here? I want to count our chickens before they're hatched, of course, but
So, I think as of right now, there's still a long way to go. Things can change, but having said that, I think as of right now, you feel pretty good about it because, generally speaking, 9 times out of 10, the Blue Jackets are playing a good game, and generally speaking, they find a way to win, which is the most important thing right now. You just need to find a way to get wins. That's it. Get the wins. I don't care anymore. If it's regulation, fine. Overtime, fine. Shootout, fine. You just need to get wins. That's what's going to get you in. You need to win. So, generally speaking, you feel pretty good about it. But at the same time, you need to keep going. You need to keep winning. And no more just pissing away these games. No more. Because every time you do that, you are making it harder and harder on yourself to make the playoffs. And you don't need to do that. Don't make it harder on yourself than it has to be. Don't do that. And I said it earlier on in the show, and I'll say it now. You can't keep doing this thing of, well, it's okay, we got a point, but, this team ahead of us lost, and this team below us lost, and all this stuff, and and, well, we got to win this game and hope this team loses, and all this other stuff, or this team in front of us loses, and this team below us loses. Stop that. No more. Because that can only do you good for so long. Stop that. The easiest way to avoid that and to stop worrying about that is just win your games. Win your games, get in. That's what you can do. Win your games. Then you can get in, and then you're good to go. Just win your games. So I'd say it's like a 6 out of 10 for me right now. That's where I'm at with this. It's like a 6 out of 10. We've been doing pretty good here. Then a game or two, like you piss it away when you shouldn't, but you do it anyways. But for the most part, generally speaking, you're playing a good game and you're finding ways to win, which is good. But you just got to keep going here. No more pissing away games. You just have to keep going and win games.
Yeah. They just got to keep this confidence they got built up going too. A couple overtime losses here and there can't shake you up too bad. It does seem. I mean, just the direction of the ship was righted not that long ago.
Nope.
With the coaching change. It's unfortunate because I didn't dislike Dean Evanson.
Nope.
There were some questionable line choices I thought of him. I'm going to question any coach ever. I'm going to question any sort of anyone ever. You're a professional. I'm a commentator. I'm going to question it. So like, as with anything, and seeing the answers happen is what's really cool about that. And I think that we're seeing some answers happening right now. So good week for the Blue Jackets. 6 out of 8 points forgot. 8 out of 8 would have been better.
Yes.
I'll gotta find something to bitch about. I can't help it. But yeah, that's about pretty much most of what I have.
Yes. All right. So we will move on to the next part of the show as we're going to be doing a little Big Ten hockey tournament recap. The first 2 rounds are in. How did every Big Ten team do? I am going to tell you about that. But first, before we get to that, we have updated records for every Big Ten team in the Big Ten so far this season. So, first off, we have Michigan with a 21-7 record, best in the Big Ten. We have Michigan State at 14-9, Penn State at 14-12, Wisconsin at 14-11. We have Ohio State at 10-16. The Minnesota Golden Gophers are at 9-16, so 9-16 for the Gophers. And Notre Dame, 5-20 in the Big Ten this season. So there you go. That is your updated Big Ten standings. And one more game, and then then the Big Ten will be done for this season. Is the Big Ten championship game, which Ohio State is in playing Michigan. So we will either have Michigan at 21-8 or 22-7, or we will have Ohio State at 11-16 or 10-17 to be determined. Now, on to the next thing. We're going to talk about the first 2 rounds of the Big Ten hockey tournament. First off, we have Ohio State going to Wisconsin and beating Wisconsin 7-1 in round 1. Ohio State smoked that ass. They destroyed Wisconsin. They smoked them. This is a big upset win because Ohio State is the lower they were the 5th seed. Wisconsin was the 4th seed, and also because historically Wisconsin is the better team between the two. They are more of the traditional powerhouse when it comes to hockey. They have national championships. They have Frozen Four, lots of Frozen Four appearances. They produce top talent. They're just historically good. That's not Ohio State. They have a Big Ten championship in 2019, and they made that one run to the Frozen Four in 2018, and they made a run to the Frozen Four in the 90s, 1999, and sometimes they make the NCAA tournament. But other than that, they're just kind of mid, kind of awful, and below average, and they're just there. So generally, and they don't produce top talent. There is no Adam Fantilli, Johnny Gaudreau, or a Dylan Larkin, or Kyle Connor, or an Adam Fantilli, or a Kent Johnson, or a Zach Werenski coming out of Ohio State. They come out of places like Wisconsin, or Minnesota, or Michigan, whatever, schools like that. And so if you're playing Ohio State in hockey, generally speaking, you should be beating them. You should not be losing to them. You could make the argument that you should be smoking them because, you're like up here and Ohio State's like down here. That's just how it is, generally speaking, for hockey. That, generally speaking, you should not be losing in hockey to Ohio State. You shouldn't. And if you do, what are you doing? It's kind of very embarrassing if you did. It's like, oh, you lost to them? Like, really? Like, that shouldn't be happening. But sometimes it does. And credit to Ohio State for getting a big win at Wisconsin. So, that's the first game in round one. Next game, we have Penn State in round one beating Minnesota 6-2. They smoked the Gophers, that is impressive. Like, historically, Minnesota is one of the powerhouses in college hockey. They produce top talent. Historically, they are consistently good, and they have national championships and Frozen Fours appearances, and they've won the Big Ten and a whole bunch of other stuff. They're just consistently good. And Hobey Baker Award winners. Most recently, they had two players, Jackson Lacombe and Brock Faber, on the USA men's hockey team that won the gold. So, they're really good. So, if you smoke Minnesota, you're doing something right. And that's what Penn State did. They played a real good game. They win 6-2, smoke the Gophers. Overall good game by Penn State to beat Minnesota in round one. Next up, we have Michigan beating Notre Dame 6-1. They smoked that ass, just destroyed Notre Dame. This is a result that was very predictable. This is a result that if you told me that this would have happened, I would have said, that doesn't surprise me. That sounds about right. Why? Because Notre Dame this season has been god-awful in the Big Ten. Last place, going into this game, they were 5-19 in the Big Ten. Obviously, you lose, now you're 5-20. It was just not a good season in the Big Ten for Notre Dame. It just wasn't. Not good. As for Michigan, why are you not surprised if they win? Well, number one, they're first place in the Big Ten this season, currently at 21-7. But also, it's Michigan. They're really good at hockey, consistently good at hockey, year in, year out. Like Minnesota, like Wisconsin, they have history. They have NCAA tournament appearances. They have Frozen Four appearances. They have Big Ten championships. They have national championships. They have Hobey Baker Award winners, which is the Heisman Trophy for college hockey. They produce top talent like a Dylan Larkin, a Kyle Connor, Kent Johnson, Adam Fantilli, Jack Johnson, Zach Werenski. That's what Michigan does. They're consistently good at hockey, and they produce top talent. So it's not surprised that they're good again this season, and it's not surprised that they smoked a team that was not very good this season. Not surprising. So I get that. And then we move on to round, and then Michigan State had the bye because they had the first seed. And then we move on to round 2, and Ohio State goes to number 1 seed Michigan State and beats Michigan State at Michigan State 3-2 in overtime. And again, Ohio State, big upset win. You did way better than expected. Realistically, you probably shouldn't have done that, but you did it anyways. And as for Michigan State, again, what are you doing? Did you really just lose to Ohio State? Come on now. You should not be doing this. That is, from your perspective, that is very, very, very embarrassing that you lost to Ohio State in hockey, in the Big Ten hockey tournament. At home, nonetheless, with the number 1 seed. What are you doing? That should not be happening. You should not be losing to Ohio State in hockey. Very embarrassing. But you did anyways. And now you're out of the Big Ten hockey tournament. You're still one of the best teams in college hockey, and you're still going to make the NCAA tournament, and you still have a shot at going to the Frozen Four. Maybe you win the national championship. But, I think I have a feeling that being the team that you were this season, that one of your goals was to win the Big Ten, which you did for the regular season, but I figured you'd probably, you'd also want to win the Big Ten tournament. You didn't do that. So, no Big Ten championship tournament, no Big Ten tournament championship for you. So, but good on you, Ohio State, Good win for you. You did something that you shouldn't have done. But you did it anyways. And then we move on to the other game in round 2 of the Big Ten hockey tournament. Michigan beat Penn State 5-2. And, Penn State, they've had a good team this year. Loaded up with good talent. Jackson Smith, Blue Jackets prospect. They got Gavin McKenna and a whole bunch of other studs. And they still have they still have some guys that from that Frozen Four team that went to the Frozen Four last year. So, good team. But when you go up against Michigan, you're probably going to lose. Probably. And that's what happened here. So, again, I'm not surprised that Michigan beat Penn State because they're always good. So, there's that. And then we get to where we are right now. This upcoming Saturday, March 21st, 2026, the Big Ten championship game in the Big Ten hockey tournament will be Ohio State versus Michigan. And Ohio State will go to Michigan. It'll be at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern time on the Big Ten Network. I'm going to be watching that game because the Blue Jackets play earlier on in the day at, 3 o'clock Central Time. So my time it's going to be 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time, but for me, that's 3 o'clock. So I'll be watching both games. I'm going to see the Blue Jackets game, and then I'm going to watch Ohio State play in the Big Ten Hockey Tournament Championship game. Now, as for what's going to happen, I don't know to a certain extent. Because you look at it and you think, okay, Michigan, we're really good at hockey, consistently good at hockey. They should smoke Ohio State's ass. They should destroy them. And there have been 4 games that Ohio State has played Michigan this season. And Ohio State has lost all 4 games. And I'm going to put that up on the screen to show you those final scores here. So we have Michigan. They beat Ohio State 8-1. Michigan beat Ohio State 5-2. Michigan beat Ohio State 6-4. And Michigan beat Ohio State 3-2. So all 4 games, Ohio State has lost to Michigan. Yes, damn indeed, Hefty Doc. Damn is right. There is a very real possibility that they could lose for a 5th time. But at the same time, Ohio State.
1 out of 5 games. I mean, it's possible.
Yes, 1 out of 5 games it is possible they could get one. Because eventually, at some point, you will get your win. Also, Ohio State is kind of weird and kind of goofy. Why? Because they have games this season where they get a big win, upset win. They beat a team that they should not beat, but they do it anyways. Like Michigan State, and going to Michigan State and beating Michigan State, like going up to Minnesota and beating the Gophers twice. They sweep the series up in Minnesota. They do that. And yet, they have games where they are god-awful and they get smoked by Penn State 11-4, smoked by Michigan State 6-2, smoked by Michigan 8-1. So that's where we're like, I'm not exactly sure what's going to happen here. Because what Ohio State are you going to get? Are you going to get the Ohio State that is good and pulls off an upset win and beats a team that they shouldn't beat, but they do it anyways? Or are you going to get the team that is god-awful and gets smoked by a team? Usually it's the big dogs of the Big Ten, a Michigan State, a Michigan, Penn State in this case. I don't know. I don't know what Ohio State I'm going to get. Because, like, you could tell me Ohio State could win this. I'm like, yeah, that probably sounds about right. It would be a little surprising that they beat Michigan in hockey. But if they did it, I'd be like, oh, that's good. And then at the same time, Michigan, you're consistently good at hockey. So, I could see it. I could see it too where Michigan beats Ohio State. Beat them in a close game. I could also see it where they smoke Ohio State because there is a talent gap. There is a talent difference. Michigan's like way up here. Ohio State's down here. And it's just because Ohio State historically is just a football school. They only care about football. Every other sport, be damned, screw you, you get nothing. And maybe you'll get lucky every so often that, the basketball team has a good year. The baseball team has a good year. Every so often, maybe the men's hockey team will have a good year. Like, they'll win the Big Ten or they'll make a run to the Frozen Four. That's where you're at. And yes, the women's hockey team has been consistently good. 4 national championship games, winning 2 of them. But I'm not talking about them. They do not deserve criticism. No reason to do that. If I'm talking about Ohio State, I'm talking about the men. So just throwing that one out there, I'm talking about the men when I say Ohio State hockey. So, I don't know. It could go either way. Ohio State could win it, but Michigan can win it because they're way up here. Ohio State's like down here, and Michigan just has all the talent. Ridiculously good, consistently, year in, year out, where they're probably going to win the Big Ten. They're probably going to, they're going to make the NCAA tournament and probably going to go to the Frozen Four. And they're good chance they're probably going to win the national championship, probably going to have a Hobie Baker Award winner. And then they just produce top players, a Dylan Larkin, a Kyle Connor. You have a Kent Johnson. You have an Adam Fantilli or a Zach Wierenski. So, it could go either way. Ohio State could win it. Michigan could win it. I'm not exactly sure. But as of right now, if I had to pick, I'd probably say Michigan. And I hope to be proved wrong. I hope Ohio State wins the Big Ten Hockey Tournament Championship game. Prove me wrong, Ohio State. I hope you do it, but at the same time, I would have to go with Michigan. I would not be surprised at all if Michigan beat Ohio State in the Big Ten Championship game for the hockey tournament.
Yeah, my heart wants to say Ohio State. I want them to win. That'd be fantastic. But the date up there, the 3/21/26, looks almost like their record sometimes.
Yeah.
But my brain says Michigan. Just the odds are so stacked in their favor. They have the history, the pedigree. Also, I don't know if you can hear it, but the wind is blowing so freaking hard here. It's whistling so loud. It's distracting me so bad right now. So if I'm pausing a little bit, trying to think of what I'm trying to say, it's because I'm trying to hear myself over this wind.
Yeah.
It just got louder as soon as I said that. It's like, hey, fuck you, dude. Anyway, so go Ohio State. I wish you the best. Boo Michigan because I'm Ohioan, but
Yeah.
they got it. They are so lucky it's this team and not Michigan State. How did Michigan State lose? Now, I don't know. Obviously, Ohio State was on a run there to beat them.
And Wisconsin.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Whatever lit a fire up under their ass, I hope they keep it up. I hope it inspires some, maybe some former players or former Ohio State students that are got some money now to invest in certain things that they like the hockey program. It'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. So, last thing we'll have to say on Ohio State, and then we got a couple more things to say, and then we'll get out of here, is the women's team, the Ohio State women's team. They have made it to a Frozen Four again, which is not surprising because that's what they do. That's just what the women's hockey team for Ohio State does now. It's just they just go to the Frozen Four. They have a good season. They go to the Frozen Four at minimum. Last 4 seasons they've been in the national championship game. They've won 2 of them. So that's cool. Shout out to Ohio State women's hockey team for doing that. But at the same time, I don't even mean this in a disrespectful way, but it's like, boring. Because you know why? Because you keep doing it. It's like, have you done that before? It's like, it's almost kind of like expected now that you're just going to do it. That you're just going to have a good season and you're going to go to the Frozen Four at minimum. And maybe you make another trip to the national championship game and maybe you'll win it. I don't know. But shout out to the Ohio State women's hockey team who went to the Frozen Four this upcoming Saturday. Again. Frozen Four again. And, if I'm Nadine Muzzerall, the coach for Ohio State women's hockey team, I am really going to give it to Ohio State. Going to whip them into shape and just shove it in their face and be like, hey, you need to give me what I want, which is more resources so that we can actually be more competitive instead of like the $2 and the McDonald's coupon that you give me that I can't really do anything with. And go get me a new hockey rink. Because playing in this old, outdated Pee Wee rink that was built in 1961 is not good enough. It's unacceptable. A team that's been good enough to play in 4 national championship games and winning 2 of them does not deserve to be playing in an old, pathetic, outdated Pee-wee rink that was built in 1961. Needs to be better. Because in my opinion, I wouldn't blame Nadine Musrawal if in some hypothetical scenario, if one day comes around and she just says, screw it. Screw you, Ohio State. I'm going to go to a school that actually cares about hockey, that will give me the resources that I actually need so that I can be more competitive. Because she's essentially doing what she's done for Ohio State, where Ohio State is consistently good and 4 trips to the national championship game and winning 2 of them on a shoestring budget with very limited resources. I joke about it, kind of being a little hyperbolic when I say $2 in a McDonald's coupon, but it's the truth. That's what you're doing. You're not giving her shit, and that needs to stop. Ohio State, I like you, but you need to get rid of this football-only mindset. It needs to stop. Put some effort into your other sports. Women's hockey should be one of those because they've earned it. Because I don't want to be in a spot in some hypothetical scenario where Nadine Musrawal could say, you know what, screw you, I'm leaving. I'm going to go to Michigan. I'm going to go to Wisconsin. I'm going to go to Minnesota. Schools that actually care about hockey, that actually give me resources. Because might I remind you, Ohio State, remember where you were before Nadine Musrawal. You were basically nothing. Terrible, dog shit, nothing. And then Nadine Musrawal comes around and builds you up in a winner to where you have success. You are consistently good. You have 2 national championships. You're playing in 4 of them. You win 2 of them. Now, all of a sudden, people are talking about Ohio State women's hockey because they weren't doing that before. But now they are. And you screw this up in some hypothetical scenario, she decides to say, screw you, goes away and goes to some other hockey school like a Michigan or a Minnesota or a Wisconsin that actually cares about hockey. Guess what, Ohio State? You will be screwed because you're not getting another coach like that, and you'll go back to the way that you were, which was god awful. So don't screw this up. It's time. Upgrade the hockey program. You need to help out the men's hockey program too. But specifically, of the 2, you know who's really earned it? It's the women's hockey team. It's time. Upgrade it. More resources. Instead of just McDonald's and a $2 coupon. More money, actual resources, and you build an actual hockey rink for both the men and the women that is an actual good hockey rink like every other Big Ten school has so that they can be more competitive.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see. Like I said, hopefully with the attention that they're going to get with this Big Ten thing is going to help bring more eyes to it. I don't know.
Yes. So,
but do you have some more stuff to talk about yet?
I do. And if you got to get out of here, that's fine. That's
cool.
fine.
That's all I was going to say.
That's fine.
Hey, this has been my time for the Brew Jackets this week. I appreciate everyone for tuning in and watching. Real quick, just don't forget to like, share, subscribe, watch us on YouTube, do all the things. Check me out online at Lance Schrock Tattoos, all the fun stuff. Great podcast, Kevin. I appreciate you keeping it going for a little bit. I will see you guys all next week. See ya. Leave studio and stream. Leave studio.
The right button. Hit the right button. Hit the right button. Well, he's circling. He's still on the screen, but it's a black screen. He's circling. We'll just talk anyways, unless he goes. Anyways, so yes, I do have a couple more things I would like to share before we get out of here. So first things first, what I would like to share, and we'll just get this off the screen here. Yeah. First things first that I would like to share is we're going to do this. So Zach Wierenski was at the Columbus Fire Department, dressed up like a firefighter. And he was passing out some Jets pizza to the Columbus Fire Department. So that's cool. So the Blue Jackets posted some pictures of Zach Wierenski at the Columbus Fire Department. So we're going to share some of those pictures. Oh, and there's Zach Wierenski, got a hose shooting out some water, looking at the firefighters telling them what to do here. There's Zach Wierenski with all the firefighters from the Columbus Fire Department. And yep, there's the Jets pizza that he delivered. So that's cool. It's cool. And we have more from that, actually. So we'll put this up. We'll back this up. So, yep, there's more. There's another picture of Zach Wierenski at the Columbus Fire Department. Another picture at the Columbus Fire Department. And there he is. He's shooting off the hose. So that's cool. But sticking with that, if you were in Columbus and you went to a Tim Hortons on Olentangy Road in Columbus, you could have seen Jake Christensen and Jack Greaves at the Tim Hortons. They were serving up some coffee and a whole bunch of other stuff. So we're going to play that video. There you go. There's Jake Christensen at the Tim Hortons. There it is. There's Jack Greaves working at the Tim Hortons. He's got the headphones on, the headset, taking some orders. I know what that's like because I worked at Dunkin' Donuts years ago, so I know what that's like. And there's Jack Greaves and Jake Christensen working the drive-thru at Tim Hortons. Okay, and then there's that. So that's cool. And look, there we go. There's Jack Greaves and Jake Christensen at the Tim Hortons. There's Jake Christensen in the drive-thru. There we go. Jack Greaves working the drive-thru. He's got the headset on. He's smiling. It's like he's about to give someone a fist bump. And there we go. Jack Greaves and Jake Christensen at the drive-thru. So that's cool. And, I'll put this up on the screen. Of course, like we said earlier on in the show, Canada, you suck. America owns your ass because, we beat you in the Olympics. So, men's hockey beats you in the Olympics, gold medal. Women's hockey beats you in the Olympics, gold medal. Of course, the World Baseball Classic, the USA baseball team beats Canada. So that's cool. And sled hockey. in the paraplegics Olympics, America beats Canada. So in every shape, every sort of way, we're better than you, Canada. You have nothing. You have nothing! You have nothing! Nothing! Even our paraplegics are better than you, Canada. You have nothing. Maybe next time you will beat us. But for now, you can't beat us. You have nothing. USA! 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 Woo! America, baby, let's go! Woo! America! America, let's go. USA! 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 Okay, what else do we got here? Oh, we're going to put this up. Put this up on the screen here. Again, I like a good color rush. I do. I like a good color rush. Here we have Michigan playing Penn State, and we have Michigan in yellow and Penn State in blue, and I love this. I do. It's a great color rush. Perfect jersey matchup. Looks great. I love this. Nicely done, Penn State and Michigan. And continuing on that theme of the whole color rush thing, of course, you know, as we talked about in the show, Big Ten championship game for Big Ten hockey tournament will be Ohio State and Michigan this upcoming Saturday, March 21st, 2026. And Ohio State, Michigan, listen to me. Listen to me. Do a color rush, just like you did here in 2019, where Ohio State wore red and Michigan wore yellow. A great look. Awesome. An awesome jersey matchup. Just great. Do it. That's what I want to see this upcoming Saturday when Ohio State plays Michigan for the Big Ten championship game in the hockey tournament. I want to see this, a color rush. I want to see Ohio State wearing red, and I want to see Michigan wearing yellow. Do it. Make it happen. Come on, you need to do it, Ohio State and Michigan. Make it happen. Where Michigan wears yellow and Ohio State wears red. Let's see here. We'll put this up. If you are a season ticket holder for the Blue Jackets, you get this cool little gift. It's a miniature replica of Nationwide Arena, and it's really cool. And it has a cannon inside of it that fire, you know, you press a button and it has a cannon sound. It goes off just like at Blue Jackets games. When the Blue Jackets score a goal and when they win, they shoot off the cannon. And that's what it's like with this replica Nationwide Arena, is that there's a button that you push, and when you push that button, the cannon goes off, and it's a big boom. And it, you know, I haven't seen it in person, but people who do have it, that's what they say. They say it looks cool, and then they say that when you push the button, the cannon, you know, going boom is pretty cool. Cannon blast, pretty cool. So that's cool. Let's see here. Let's see here. Let's see. Oh, yep. Okay. So, I'm going to put this up. on the screen here. Where is it? Probably like one of the last few things I'm going to talk about. And then I'm going to get going, get out of here. Let's see here. Okay. So I'm going to put this one up on the screen here. Zoom in. So, so I had a tweet that did really good, way better than expected, to show you how good. How about over 1,000 likes, 29 retweets, and it had over 200,000 views. That is just ridiculously good. It is just ridiculously good. And, Union Blue Soldiers, we have, we got a good Twitter page. It's over 5,000 followers, 566 to be exact. So, we got a good, decent following. And every so often, I put a tweet out there, and it gets good reviews. But it doesn't happen a lot. That's a once in a while sort of thing. It's like 8 out of 10 times I throw something out there, and they'll get like 2 or 3 likes, maybe a retweet. But every so often there's that like 1 or 2 times out of 10 where I will do a tweet and I'll get good reviews, and it does surprisingly way better than expected. And this is one of those tweets that did way better than expected. And what's the context of this tweet? So, we'll back this up. So the original tweet, I responded to a tweet. He was a big Ohio State guy, also a Blue Jackets guy, but he's really into Ohio State. Justin4_OSU on Twitter. And the original conversation is, I'll even back this up. Let's see here. Right. Okay, so this is a burner account. This is not really Danny Heatley, but whatever. So put me in power. I'll build a rink fast, and I'll put it on campus because Ohio State had a new president, and Ted Carter was the president, but he's gone, and that does suck for Ohio State because Ted Carter was a real big hockey guy, big advocate for hockey, and that was very beneficial, not just to the Blue Jackets, but also beneficial to Ohio State hockey, so that you finally had someone in there that liked hockey and would push for more resources for hockey, be better at hockey, get away from that that football only mindset that holds Ohio State back. But he's gone because, just stupid, idiotic shenanigans, did some inappropriate stuff, and he gets kicked out. He's done. So we get a new leader in. And then the tweet jokingly, Jim Tressel for Ohio State president. Do right and hire a Buckeye Sports / player first type president. Hashtag Tressel for president. And then that's, of course, where, says, put me in power. I'll build a rink fast and I'll put it on campus. And then Justin says, I feel bad for Nadine. She deserves that new rink. And then, says, Nadine Muzerall, with very limited resources, has got Ohio State to 4 national championship games, winning 2 of them. Imagine what she could do if Ohio State cared about hockey. Instead, she has to go bargain bin shopping with $2 and a McDonald's coupon, hoping for the best. And you see good reviews, 2 retweets, 43 likes, over 8,000 views. And then Joe Cooper at Cooper243 on Twitter says, I know someone that works for the state, so the state of Ohio, and he said he saw the plans for the new rink. The men's need a smaller rink, the women need a better rink. My response to that is OSU has plans and they suck, and they want OSU men to play at the Shot and the OSU women to play at the new rink. A new building for both the men and the women is needed. Michigan State and Penn State have perfect examples for what OSU should be going for hockey rinks, which is true. Like, look up what Penn State has and what Michigan State has. It's really good. They have one of the best hockey setups in college hockey. Their hockey rinks are really good, and that's what Ohio State should be shooting for. And then here we have Preston THUY at GoBucks589 says, just have both men and women's play at the Shot. It's a great all-purpose place. I responded to that. No, the Shot is awful, way too big, one of the worst facilities in the Big Ten, not good for hockey, average at best for basketball. The consequences of rushing to build the Shot and try and stop the Blue Jackets from coming to Columbus has screwed Ohio State. This got good reviews, 2 retweets, 194 likes, 40,000 views. And we have a response here from Mitch at Mitch577400700. Never heard that last part before. Please explain. And I said, years ago, OSU was not very fond of the Blue Jackets coming to Columbus, so OSU tried to stop CBJ from coming to Columbus. One of those ways was to rush to build the Shot to stop Nationwide Arena from happening. Didn't work, and now OSU is stuck with a terrible building, which is true. OSU, Ohio State, as they're called, or OSU, Ohio State is stuck with a terrible building. The Shot is terrible. It is god-awful. Like 9 times out of 10, no one likes it. It's too big for basketball. It's way too big for hockey. It's too big, and it just has like a dead environment in there where it's just nothing's going on there. Metaphorically speaking, it's dead, and it's just there. It's not a good building. And then people like to say, well, it's good for concerts. Okay, yeah, but here's the thing about that. They're getting like sloppy seconds. They're not even getting like the best of the best. Okay, like the best of the best for a concert, it's going to Nationwide Arena. Like 21 Pilots. Now, from Columbus, very popular, and big Blue Jackets fans. They like the Blue Jackets, and they played at the Blue Jackets outdoor game. They had a concert this past October 2025. No, they had a concert October 2024. One of those two. It's either October 2024 or October 2025. But point being, they had a concert in October. Where'd they go? Nationwide Arena. They did not pick the shot. And that's the case of all these big names. If it's your first choice, you're going to go to Nationwide Arena. You're not picking the shot. And when you try and build the shot in a last-ditch effort to stop the Blue Jackets from coming to Columbus, which is true, they did this, and you fail, and it doesn't work, and the Blue Jackets are in Columbus, Nationwide Arena happens, guess what? It backfires, and you're stuck with a bad building now. It's terrible, it's god-awful, and guess what, Ohio State? You are screwed. You're screwed. That's what happens when you try and rush to build this building to try and stop Nationwide Arena from happening. This is what happens when you try to stop the Blue Jackets from coming to Columbus, which you did. You also worked with the state government of Ohio to try and use taxpayer money to try and stop it. Okay? You had people that worked for Ohio State, like Gordon Gee at the time, speak out against it. Okay? You also had, because I'm going to put this up on the screen here. Put this up on the screen here. So, from Willie Lutz on Twitter, at Willie Lutz _ on Twitter. Fun fact, Ohio State President Gordon Gee had his wife write an op-ed against the building of the downtown arena and professional soccer facilities, argued that keeping the historic, dilapidated, closed penitentiary was more valuable to downtown Columbus. So yes, Ohio State was very much against the Blue Jackets coming to Columbus. They did everything that they could. And yet they failed. They failed. So, and think about how stupid this is. Our Ohio State had, so Gordon Gee, the president of Ohio State at the time, had his wife write an op-ed, assuming it was in the Columbus Dispatch or some other publication at the time, arguing that downtown Columbus, which had a old, dilapidated penitentiary that had people that went to jail there with all the worst people that you could imagine there. It was better to keep that there than to make that area better and build it up. Get a sports team down there, get a stadium, you get bars, get restaurants, get stores, get hotels, and you turn a bad area into a good area. Ohio State essentially argued against that. They would at that point in time, Ohio State would rather have had a old, crappy part of downtown Columbus be crappy and not a good area instead of having it become an awesome area. Because that part of Columbus and downtown Columbus was awful. It was a place that you didn't want to be there. If you had to be there, fine. But generally speaking, you didn't want to be there. It was an area that you wanted to try and avoid and not go down there unless you had to go there. So that's crazy that Ohio State would argue against that. That they would argue having a new, nice, beautiful area with a sports team and bars and restaurants and stores and hotels and all this other stuff and turn a bad area into a good area. But they did. And so, which brings it back to this tweet right here, which said, like I said, years ago, OSU was not very fond of the Blue Jackets coming to Columbus, so OSU tried to stop CBJ from coming to Columbus. One of the ways was to rush to build the shot to stop Nationwide Arena from happening. Didn't work, and now OSU is stuck with a terrible building. And overall, like I said, again, good reviews, over 205,000 views, 29 retweets, over 1,000 likes. I bookmarked it, so 109 bookmarks, but if you took that away, 108 bookmarks, but still pretty good. And I didn't think that this tweet would take off as it did. I did not think that this tweet would do as good as it did, but it did do that good. Because in part, why I think that this tweet did good is because a lot of people don't know this. A lot of people don't know this. This comes, if you would know this if you read the Columbus Chill Factor book, which is a great book. You should check it out. It tells the story of hockey history in Columbus and how Columbus got the Blue Jackets. And you also learn about how did Ohio State feel back then. And they did not feel very good about it. And you also learn about some of the dumb shenanigans that was very stupid and idiotic that Ohio State tried to do to try and stop the Blue Jackets from coming to Columbus. So read the book. Read Chill Factor book. It's an awesome book. Tells the story of hockey history in Columbus and how Columbus got the Blue Jackets. But also, at the same time, I understand why people don't know this. Because many people in Columbus area, and just Ohio in general, they don't know this. Why do they not know this? I'll tell you why they don't know this. Because stuff like this is not talked about a lot. It's not. Why is it not talked about a lot? Because the truth is, look at how Ohio State is treated. They are treated like they are the Messiah. They're Jesus Christ. They're a godlike figure. Praise Ohio State. Praise Ohio State. You must bow down to them. You must kiss their ass. You must tell them they're the greatest thing ever. No criticism. And if you do, you hate Ohio State. Oh, no, you hate Ohio State. Which doesn't really mean anything anymore, because it just doesn't. Because the way that people use that, they use it way too much and they ruin that. And it's just a way to try and discredit you, even though they have no proof. Because that has happened to me many times. I call Ohio State on their shenanigans. And then, and it's like a brain malfunction. People have a brain fart. And they go, you hate Ohio State? You hate Ohio State? How dare you say something about Ohio State? You can't do that. Well, yeah, screw you. Yes, I can do something about that. I can say something. I can. No one is perfect. I will call out the good. I will call out the bad. Yes, I've said some bad stuff about Ohio State. I called them out when they've done something bad. I've also called them out when they've done something good. It's the same thing with every other sports team that I like. You watch this show, you know it. If the Blue Jackets do something bad, I don't like it, I'm going to call it out. You watch this show, if the Blue Jackets do something good that I like, I'm going to call it out. Because that's how it is with me. I'm never going to do this thing where it's just like everything is always the greatest thing ever, or everything is like always the worst thing ever, and it's always negative, and that you can't do anything right. I will never do that. I'm going to call out the bad, and I'm going to call out the good. But the thing is, no one does that besides like me and like two other people with Ohio State. It's always, oh my God, Ohio State, you're the greatest thing ever. I'm going to bow down to you. I'm going to praise you. I'm going to kiss your ass. No, doesn't work like that. And that contributes to why people don't know this stuff. They don't know that Ohio State built the shot to try and stop Nationwide Arena from happening. Which, if that happened, that means no Blue Jackets. They don't know that if Ohio State got their way back then in the 90s, that if they worked with the state government of Ohio to try and use taxpayer dollars to stop this, if it worked, no Blue Jackets. They don't know that. And like I said earlier, they don't know that Gordon Gee, the president at the time, had his wife have an op-ed speak out against, essentially, what would have been the Crew or the Blue Jackets. They don't know this because no one talks about this, generally speaking. And it also does not help that, let's be honest with ourselves here, call it what it is, that a majority of the Columbus media just bows down to Ohio State. They kiss their ass. You never really, for the most part, don't really see anything negative about them. They don't really call them out on anything. Nothing. So that contributes to that. Because if you had a real balanced media, yeah, they would have called that out. You would have known something about it. But generally speaking, they don't do that. Because like everyone else, 9 times out of 10, you are cocked by Ohio State. You are whipped by Ohio State. 9 times out of 10, generally speaking, most of you, Ohio State has you by the balls. And that's the truth. Yes, I say this. I have an Ohio State flag in the background. I am an Ohio State guy. But I will never be the guy that just sits there and just accepts it for what it is. And just always just praising them. Or, okay? No. I'll never be that. And I'll never be that for any of my sports teams. I'm always going to, they do something bad, I'm going to call it out. They do something good, I'm going to call it out. Most of the responses to this tweet were good responses. Most of the people understood what I was getting at. Most of the people knew that this was a thing because you've read the book. You pay attention to hockey. You know what's going on. You're not just a total Ohio State Kool-Aid drinker. You don't just kiss their ass all the time. Like, yeah, you like Ohio State, but you're not a butt kisser. You understand what's going on. But for the people that there was some responses to this tweet, there was, that you could tell they were the Ohio State butt kisser because they freaked out like, oh, no, that's made up. That's BS. That's not true. And, freaking out because they can't handle criticism of Ohio State. They haven't been taught that. Partly it's not their fault because, again, when you just always talking about them in a consistently positive way, and this isn't to say that they haven't earned that. They've been consistently good at football, but at the same time, when it's just positive again and again and again and again and again, and you don't call out the negative stuff, you're not setting people up for success. They're going to be blinded by the Ohio State Kool-Aid, so that when someone calls them out on something that they legitimately did, people are going to freak out because they don't know how to handle criticism. And I see those people. It wasn't a lot, but there were some comments here. And to those people, I say, you need to stop doing that. Put down your Ohio State Kool-Aid and stop. Realize I'm right. Realize that I am right. Realize that the people who are correcting you are also right by saying, no, he's, in this case, Union Blue Soldiers. No, they're right. They know what they're talking about. And they would back it up. Here's proof. It's in the book, Columbus Chill Factor. It's here. It's this. It's that. Okay? In today's world, with TV and radio and internet and social media and newspaper and so much more, there is and books and so much more. There is so many ways out there to get your information. It's out there. Go find it. Go find it. Go find it. Go do some research. It's out there. Go find it. It should not be up to me to consistently explain these things. I would love that if I wouldn't have to do that, but I do have to do that because I'm one of the few people that's actually talking about this stuff. Get off your ass and go research this stuff. It's out there. Stop being blinded by your Ohio State Kool-Aid. Knock it off. And then on top of that, I get some out of nowhere. I don't know where this guy comes from, but we get some Ohio State hockey player that played hockey at Ohio State in like the 90s. And he's getting all pissy about it. Like, oh, where are you getting this? That's not true. And again, I tell him, no, this is true. Here's where you get it. Columbus Chill Factor, all this stuff. And he just kind of goes off into like, kind of weird tangents and just like, and it's like, no, dude, like stop freaking out. You're letting your Ohio State bias get in your way. Like, it does not have to be like that. It just does not have to be like that. As a matter of fact, you know what? I'm gonna pull this up. See if I can find the guy's tweet here. Let's see here if I can. One of these responses, he's got to be here somewhere. Oh, this guy right here, of course. This is one of those guys. Okay, see, it's in the Twitter bio, Ohio State. So, of course, you don't get it. Of course you don't get it. You're letting your Ohio State bias get in the way. So you don't get that, yes, Ohio State did what they tried to do to stop the Blue Jackets from coming. So that's that. Let's see if we can find that guy. Oh, here's another idiot that's made up BS. No, it's not. I proved you wrong. Let's see. Just no. So, no, it just is no. So, let's see here. Not made up. Let's see. Let's see here. You know what? I'm going to keep looking for it. Because I want to talk about this. Let's see. We're going to pull this up. Oh, fact. I know I've tweeted this, but you know what? It's not that important. We're not going to do it. Well, we're not going to do it. But anyways, there was Ohio State hockey player, and he makes this accusation where it's like the players weren't against it, and it's like no one said that. That's not the discussion. The discussion is why is the shot here? And it's here because Ohio State tried to rush it and stop the Blue Jackets from coming. It didn't work. And it's like, well, the players wanted the Blue Jackets to come, and it's like, again, good. That's great. That's great. But again, that's not the discussion. We're not talking about if the players wanted it or not. We're talking about Ohio State as in the institution, Ohio State. We're not talking about the hockey team or anything, or the football team, as we're talking Ohio State, or not talking about how the players felt or stuff like that. We're just not. We're not talking about that. Let's see. So no, it just we're not talking about that. I've probably gone on a little rant here. Almost 3 hours, so maybe I'll finish up. Anyways, kind of get a little worked up here. But it's just like I'm just done with this whole nonsense of like, put in the work, research it. Yes, Ohio State has done some bad stuff. They tried to stop the Blue Jackets from coming to Columbus. Not good. But in the end, they get redemption. Why? Because 20 plus years later, the Ohio State actually likes the Blue Jackets now. They got redemption. They redeemed themselves. You help the Blue Jackets get an outdoor game at Ohio State, and you're showing support for Ohio State on social media multiple times over the years. You got Nadine Muzzerall, who's helping out at Blue Jackets development camp. Yeah. They don't really do that stuff anymore. They actually, support the Blue Jackets. So you can have redemption. It does matter. So let's see here. One more time, I want to look up to see if I can find that tweet from the former Ohio State hockey player. And if I can't find it, then so be it. If not, oh well. Oh wait. Oh, I got it. I got it. Yes. Yes, I do. I have it. Let's see here. Let's see. Okay. Right here we'll put. And then let's see. Okay, so we got a couple tweets here. Gonna put this up. On the screen. Okay. Let's see here. Let's see here. Okay. You know what? right, we found the tweets here. So we're going to put this up on the screen here. Let's see here. So the proof is where. I can tell you as players, we were pretty pumped to get an NHL team. And it's like, okay, yes, cool. I'll put this up on the screen. So it says the proof of this is where. I can tell you as players, we're pretty pumped to get an NHL team. But it's like, again, no one was saying that. That was not the discussion. Cool. The players... Cool. The players at Ohio State at the time wanted the Blue Jackets to come. That's great. But that's not the discussion that we were having. You made the decision to come in here and change the subject that had nothing to do with it. We're talking about why is the shot. Why does the shot exist? What you're saying right here has nothing to do with it. It just doesn't. Like, come on, stay on topic here. And I said, oh, why, where are you getting that? We'll back this up here. And it's like, the proof is where. And that's when I said the Chill Factor book, read it. And then he gets all pissy about that. Like, oh, you think you know everything because of one book and everything. And it's like, yeah, I know something because of the book. It's a good book, Chill Factor. Read it. It tells you the story of the hockey history of Columbus and how the Columbus got the Blue Jackets. I don't know. Maybe read the book and then you would know that too. But you didn't do that. Instead, you're getting a little bit pissed. You're getting a little bit pissy, and you're letting your Ohio State bias get in the way. You're letting your Ohio State bias get in the way. Stop doing that. Like, come on now. And then, of course, I said, someone responded, oh, right here. Yeah, Mitch. So, thanks. Why were they so against it? Didn't like the competition. Did they put a similar fight up against the Crew? Well, I'll back this up. No, okay. And then I said, Ohio State did not care about the Crew coming to Columbus. Soccer isn't a threat to them. Ohio State viewed the Blue Jackets as a threat, which was very stupid and very idiotic. Having the Blue Jackets in Columbus has been very beneficial for Ohio State. Hashtag Uni Blue Pride, hashtag CBJ. And when you put in the hashtag CBJ, you get a Blue Jackets emoji, which is really cool. And I like doing that. And then, of course, where are you getting that you felt that we were threatened by CBJ? So, like, again, I'm not talking about you as in the Ohio State hockey team, dude. Why do you keep bringing the Ohio State hockey team into this? I'm not talking about them. Why do you keep bringing them into this? I mean Ohio State as in the institution, not you, Brian Keller, not Ohio State hockey. I'm not talking about you. We're talking about Ohio State. Why do you keep bringing Ohio State into this? Ohio State hockey into this? I'm not talking about this. So we're totally on different wavelengths here, but you know what? I responded anyways because you know what? People need to know this. And people who are Ohio State people, you need to realize this stuff. You need to put down the Ohio State bias. Said, OSU working with the state government of Ohio to stop the Blue Jackets from coming to Columbus and building the shot to stop Nationwide Arena from happening. OSU officials speaking out against the idea of CBJ coming. You don't do those things if you are not threatened, which is true. If you are not threatened, you do nothing. You're like, okay, it's the Blue Jackets. Who cares? Whatever. They're getting a hockey team. Okay, fine. Whatever. You don't, you ignore it. But at that point in time in the 90s, Ohio State did not do that. Ohio State did the opposite of that. They did something to prove that they were threatened. They worked with the state government of Ohio to try and stop the Blue Jackets. You build the shot to try and stop Nationwide Arena from happening, which didn't work. That says that you felt threatened by the Blue Jackets coming to Columbus. And if we're being honest here, Ohio State, what are you doing? Are you serious? You seriously felt threatened by that? Because let's be honest here, that was stupid and idiotic for you to even do such a thing. And it was very stupid and idiotic for you to even, feel threatened. Ohio State, do you realize who you are? Do you realize who you are? You're the Ohio State. You're Ohio State. You are the best of the best. You are one of the best schools in America. You're consistently good at football. You're a big name. You have people that come to you, not just from all over Ohio. You have people that come to you all over America. You have fans, not just in Ohio, you have fans all over America. I'm one of those people. I live in Illinois, and I like Ohio State. So for you to feel threatened by the Blue Jackets is wrong and very stupid and very idiotic. Do you not know who you are? Do you not know who you are? No one is a threat to you. Maybe it's the Blue Jackets now because that's how you felt back then. They're probably the closest to it. But even then, no, not really a threat. You have everyone by the balls, Ohio State. They are cocked. They are whipped. You have them by the balls. You really can't do anything wrong because people will love you. People will support you no matter what. No matter what. 105 plus thousand, every home football game, support everywhere. You go to any store in the state of Ohio, like a Walmart, a Target, a Meijer, a Dick's, or like a mall, guess what? There will be Ohio State stuff there. It does not matter what part of Ohio you are in, you will find Ohio State stuff. You can't say that about every other Ohio sports team because depending on where you are in the state of Ohio, you're only going to find like Ohio State and Cleveland stuff. So like Guardians and the Browns and the Cavs. Maybe Monsters because they're the minor league team up there for the Blue Jackets. Or depending on where you are in Ohio, you're probably only going to find like Ohio State stuff and all the Cincinnati teams. So like Ohio State, and then you got like the Reds, and then the Bengals. You got FC Cincinnati and the Bearcats. And then if you're in Columbus, you're going to find a little bit of everything because it's right in the middle of the state. You know, Ohio State, the Blue Jackets, the Crew. You're going to have a little bit of the Clippers, a little bit of the Reds, the Bengals. You have a little bit of the Cavs, the Guardians, the Browns. You'll have everything in the Columbus area. But you have everyone by the balls, Ohio State. You can't do anything wrong. So for you to even do what you did there in the 90s is stupid and idiotic. What were you really scared of? Nothing will happen. You have people by the balls. Nothing will ever happen. Stop being scared. Stop. Just stop. You know, you get busted in the news because you're in the Ohio State's in the Epstein files. And you got this Les Wexner guy who, not a good person, has connections to Epstein, and he gets money from Epstein, and he's given it to Ohio State, and his name is all over the different buildings in Columbus that Ohio State has. And you look up this Dr. Richard Strauss guy who did some very inappropriate stuff to people years ago. Look it up. I'm not saying what it is, but it was very inappropriate. You got a, not that long ago, you got a student that's punching, no, I'm sorry, not a student. You got a professor punching an Ohio State student. A professor that works for Ohio State punches a student. You got a doctor that works at an Ohio State hospital, a gynecologist that works at an Ohio State hospital, and he's taking money from Epstein. And guess what? Nothing is happening. Why? Because you have people by the balls, Ohio State. People love you. It doesn't matter what you're going to do. You could do good, bad. It does not matter. So for you to feel threatened by the Blue Jackets and do what you did to try and stop the Blue Jackets from coming to Columbus was stupid and idiotic, because nothing is going to happen. You should not feel threatened. So that's what I'm going to say about that. Let's see here. Do I have anything else to say about it? Oh, okay. So this one right here. No clue who you are, but the fact you keep sewering the Buckeyes hockey tells me all I need to know. Well, first off, screw you. You're wrong, because you're right. No clue who you are. Well, you're right. You don't know who I am. You don't know who Union Blue Soldiers is. Guess what? I'll tell you who Union Blue Soldiers is. We are a big, passionate group of Blue Jackets fans. We love the Blue Jackets. We're here to cheer them on. We do marches to cheer on the Blue Jackets. We've been on, in the Columbus Dispatch. We've been talked about in 97.1 The Fan. We've been on the scoreboard at Blue Jackets games. We've been on TV commercials during Blue Jackets games to try and get you to buy tickets to Blue Jackets games. We've been on TV. 10 TV has featured our marches. ABC 6 News has featured Union Blue Soldiers marches. NBC 4 has featured Union Blue Soldiers marches. Clay Hall, Adam King, Whitney Harding. Okay? That's who we are. We're doing good stuff. Oh, that's not all. You want to say, oh, we're suing the Buckeyes hockey? Well, cool. Guess what? You don't know shit. You're not telling the whole story. Because if you had paid attention to our Twitter page, you would know this. You would know this. I've also shown support for Ohio State hockey, not just on Union Blue Soldiers, but also on this show's Twitter page. But you don't know that. You don't know that. Maybe do some research next time, bud. Maybe do some research next time. Just saying. I'm just, throwing that one out there. I'm just throwing that one out there. And you know what? Hey, we're just going to have some fun, And I saw another tweet, he called me out. So again, So here we go. So the tweet is from that fake Danny Heatley. Random question, is Ohio State ever going to do right by the hockey team and give them their own rink? Are these rink plants even legitimate anymore? No, they're not. This team is historically too good not to have their own hockey facilities and rink, men's and women's team. What is Pres Ross Bjork doing? Of course, Ross Bjork is the AD, athletic director at Ohio State. My response, the answer to your question is no. Ohio State does not care about hockey. Ohio State women's hockey team is consistently good, and they get nothing. So what makes you think they would get off their ass and build a new hockey rink for the men's and the women's? And he says, you're pretty wrong again. And excuse me, no, I'm not. You of all people should know this, Mr. Brian Keller. You are an Ohio State hockey player. You played hockey at Ohio State. In my opinion, you of all people should know this, that Ohio State does not give two shits about hockey. They don't care. Oh, you want new hockey facilities? You want this? You want that? Fuck you. You get nothing. At best, here's $2 in a McDonald's coupon. Ah, that's cute. You wanted actual resources? Too bad. Oh, that's cute. You wanted an actual hockey arena to play in like every other school in the Big Ten does? Fuck you. You don't get that. Fuck you. You don't get that. You don't get that. You don't get that. Instead, women's team, guess what? You get to go play in a shitty pee-wee rink that was built in the 60s, that's old and outdated. Go fuck yourself. That's where you go to play. Well, I want a new hockey arena. Well, too bad. Screw you. You get to go play in that shitty pee-wee rink that's old and outdated and built in the 60s. As for the men, you go fuck yourself. Screw you. You get to go play in the shitty shot. Well, I want a new hockey arena. Well, too bad. Fuck you. You get nothing. I don't care. What? It's too big for hockey? It's not meant for hockey? It's dead inside, no atmosphere? Too bad. You get nothing. Sit your ass down. Go play in the shitty shot. You should know this. And for all of the years, this has happened for years. For years. I've heard this for years. It's in the rumors and it pops up. Well, Ohio State, they're going to get a hockey facility. They're going to get a hockey facility. And then nothing happens. Time and time again, the same thing happens. The same thing happens. We're there. Yeah, Ohio State, we're going to do it. We're going to do it. We're going to get a hockey rink. We're going to get a hockey rink. We're going to do it. And it doesn't happen. So what does that tell you, Mr. Brian Keller? It tells you that Ohio State doesn't give two shits about hockey. It tells you that Ohio State does not care about hockey. Because if they were serious about hockey, if Ohio State cared about hockey, they would have done it. They would have done it. They would have put in the effort. But they don't. Well, it's a funding issue. We can't have the funding. Well, okay. Find a way to get around that. Other schools are doing it. Look at every other Big Ten school. Michigan, awesome hockey facilities. Penn State, awesome hockey facilities. Wisconsin, theirs is pretty good. Michigan State, theirs is good. Penn State, theirs is good. Minnesota, theirs is good. Ohio State, nothing. And he said, well, we might get one, maybe. What? No. You wonder where you are right now, Ohio State. You wonder why. You are average at best. Why you don't get top talent to come to your school. Why you don't get a Zach Werenski and Adam Fantilli. Or a Johnny Gaudreau type. Because it's stuff like that. You don't care about hockey. You don't put the effort in. And you will never get those guys unless you get that. Penn State used to just be like you. A school that didn't give two shits about any other sport but football. They were a football school. And then they made the decision to put effort in their hockey program. They got money from a donor to build a new hockey rink, and they put it all together. They put more effort into hockey. Guess what? They were rewarded. Their hockey program is way better now. They just came off a trip to the Frozen Four. And because that, how do they get rewarded? Oh, they get Gavin McKenna, who is seen as the guy who's probably going to go number 1 in the hockey draft, NHL draft, this upcoming June. They get Jackson Smith, one of the best defensemen that you could have gotten to come to your team, who's a Blue Jackets prospect. So, when you put effort into your hockey team, you get rewarded. It's kind of disappointing, kind of silly in my opinion, for an Ohio State hockey guy. Oh, you're pretty wrong again. No, you of all people should know this, in my opinion, that Ohio State does not care about hockey. They don't give two shits about hockey. They don't. You should know this, in my opinion. Put down your Ohio State bias and realize that I'm right. You know? Realize that. Oh, been saying this for years. Blame CBJ for this garbage. They force it here and do not care what anyone thinks. It's sad for the players. Oh, it should be hockey building. Or maybe they want the kids to play in a really good hockey building, like Nationwide Arena. They don't want them playing in like the shitty shot. Maybe they want them to have that once in a lifetime experience to say, hey, I got to play at a Nationwide Arena where the Blue Jackets play when I was in high school. That's a lot better than saying, well, I played at the shot. I'm just saying, so again, you blaming the Blue Jackets is stupid and idiotic. I know, I think it would be a lot cooler, my opinion, for these people to say, yeah, when I was in high school, I played hockey, and I got to play where the Blue Jackets play. Oh, that's cool. Oh, and here's another thing. Mr. Brian Keller, do you know this? Because Ohio State cares about hockey so much that when the Ohio High School Wrestling Tournament is in Columbus, it's at the Shot. So what does Ohio State? Does Ohio State stand up for themselves and say, no, you can't have this here. We're going to play here? No. Instead, nope. What do? If Ohio State has to play a hockey game and they can't use it because the Ohio High School hockey, the Ohio High School Wrestling Tournament, you know what they do? They make them play a hockey game at Nationwide Arena. They've done this before. That's another reason, in my opinion, why they don't care about hockey, because they'd stand up for themselves. They don't. And you know what? For once, those Ohio State players, they actually got to play in a good arena. They know what it's like. Maybe then they can, say, hey, Ohio State, where we played, where the Blue Jackets played? That's really cool. Can you do that for us? Can you give us a real good one, a good facility? What? And then at what point did they think Ohio State was going to be the big dog? I never heard a dumber statement. No. Again, you're bringing the Ohio State hockey team into this conversation where it does not belong. It does not belong. Because we're talking about Ohio State as in the institution. We're not talking about Ohio State as in hockey. And if you want to bring the sport into it, what's the one sport that everyone cares about at Ohio State? What's the one sport that gets Ohio State attention? It's not hockey. It's not basketball. It's not baseball. It's football. Okay? That would be the potential threat, even though it wasn't a threat because that's stupid and idiotic. But that was the potential threat. Ohio State football was scared that they would lose some people to the Blue Jackets. Not hockey. So again, stop bringing the hockey of Ohio State into this. It has nothing to do with this conversation. It's nowhere close. No one is scared of Ohio State hockey. We're talking about Ohio State as in the institution, and if we're talking about a sport, it's football. The only sport that consistently gives Ohio State legitimacy and power and popularity and attention. Afraid, oh, we might lose support to the Blue Jackets. No, you didn't. If anything, you still have that same support, and now there's people that like the Blue Jackets and Ohio State. Because that's just how it is in today's world. The demographics of Columbus is that, generally speaking, if you're in Columbus, you like Ohio State, you like the Blue Jackets. That's not always the case. You have people that, they like the Blue Jackets. They're in Columbus, but they don't like Ohio State. They like the Blue Jackets and like the Cincinnati Bearcats. They like the Blue Jackets and like Michigan. And like that is a thing. It is a small group of people, but it's Michigan. Small group of people where they like the Blue Jackets in Michigan. And it does exist, and it seems to keep going up every single time that the Blue Jackets get a Michigan guy. So I think that is. And again, it's been well. So I said, my response to this one guy, it's all BS. No, it's not. Put down your Ohio State Kool-Aid and realize that that is not real, not made up BS. Everything I said was right. Read the Chill Factor book and you would know this. An awesome book that tells the story of hockey history in Columbus and how Columbus got the Blue Jackets. Let's see here. Oh, yeah, right here. One book and you think you got this. Look, the teams need a rink. That's the truth. The other truth is Gene Smith didn't give two poop emoji about hockey, neither did the one before him. That's where we are where they are. And it's like, okay, but again, whatever, fine. But it's like, I'm agreeing to you with this. I've been a big advocate for Ohio State hockey. I want them to be better. I want them to do better. I want them to have a better hockey rink because what they have right now with the shot and the Pee Wee rink is awful. It's not good enough. You need to be better. And yes, Gene Smith didn't give shits about hockey. That's true. He also, it's a big reason why the Blue Jackets didn't have an outdoor game until 2025. Like, that's true. So, like, you're bringing up some good stuff here, but then you're being weird and you're getting pissy about it because you're letting your Ohio State bias get in your way. Like, stop doing that. Realize that Ohio State is not perfect. They've done some bad stuff. They've done some good stuff. Just like everyone else in this world. You've done good stuff. You've done bad stuff. All balances out. And you're right. The program does deserve better. I agree with you, Mr. Brian Keller. I agree with you. Ohio State does deserve better. I agree. And then it's been well documented that OSU opposed the Jackets, although the relationship has drastically improved over the past decade or so, which is objectively true. It has been well documented that Ohio State opposed the Blue Jackets, and it's also true that the relationship that the Blue Jackets have had with Ohio State is way better than it used to be. That's objectively true. It is way better than it used to be. Because I want to say it's at least 11 years now. At least 11 years where you see constant examples of Ohio State and the Blue Jackets supporting each other. Like, that is objectively true, in my opinion. That has to be true. Just at least 11 years. So going back to like 2015. So at least 11 years of the Blue Jackets and Ohio State supporting each other. Where it's like Ohio State says something about the Blue Jackets on social media. Hey, go CBJ, let's go Jackets. Good luck this season, Blue Jackets. And they post it all over social media. And then the Blue Jackets do the same thing when Ohio State season starts, football. And they're like, hey, OHIO, go Bucks. Best of luck to Ohio State this season. The Blue Jackets have, over the years, have had multiple Ohio State nights where, like, Brutus is there, Ohio State's mascot Brutus, and, like, you can get your picture taken with him. And, like, the Ohio State band is there, and they play music during the game like they did during the Blue Jackets outdoor game, when every time the Blue Jackets scored a goal, and played music during other times during the game. And last year's Ohio State night at the Blue Jackets game, you had Brutus with Stinger show off the new jerseys that the Blue Jackets wore at the outdoor game. And then, of course, not that long ago, the Blue Jackets just had their annual Ohio State night at a Blue Jackets game. Again, Ohio State music was played there during the game, and a whole bunch of other stuff. And you got, again, like I said, you got Nadine Muzzerall. She is helping out at the Blue Jackets development camp, and she's been to Blue Jackets games. She's brought the Ohio State women's hockey team to Blue Jackets games. And then, like Ohio State, over the years, they've had these events, like to start off the year for a new school year, where it's like, these are the sort of things that you can do when you're in Columbus, when you're going to school at Ohio State. And it's all this other stuff. And they've included the Blue Jackets in that sort of event. You can do this, you can do this. Oh, and you can go to Blue Jackets games. And they've had someone from the Blue Jackets there. And obviously the most big thing is Ohio State helped the Blue Jackets get an outdoor game. And it was really cool. It was really awesome. And I was there. I was one of over 94,000 plus people there. That's Blue Jackets history. That was a where were you moment. Where were you when the Blue Jackets played an outdoor hockey game at Ohio State? I can say that I was there with my brother, and we saw a great game. The Blue Jackets beat the Detroit Red Wings 5-3, and it was awesome. My brother's not much of a hockey guy, Generally speaking, he's not going to watch it on hockey on TV, although that has been different in recent weeks because he keeps telling me that, oh, yeah, I watched because, he's got a hockey package. And is oh yeah, I turned on the TV and I watched the Blue Jackets play. And I was stunned and shocked by that in a good way. Like, what? Like, whoa, you're watching the Blue Jackets? You're watching a hockey game on TV? Like, really? Whoa. He's not much of a hockey guy. If you give him my brother tickets to a hockey game, he'll go. But even if you put that off to the side, how he's not much of a hockey guy, even he liked the Blue Jackets outdoor game at Ohio State. It was that good. Just that good, that awesome, an awesome moment in Blue Jackets history. The Blue Jackets outdoor game at Ohio State. So yes, the Blue Jackets have worked better with Ohio State. And then, the players never did. And again, no one is saying that the players never did. No one is saying that the players never not liked the Blue Jackets no one is saying that the players, as in Ohio State hockey players, at your time point and your time frame in the 90s never liked the Blue Jackets. No one is saying that. Like, no one is saying that. That's not the discussion. It's Ohio State as in the institution. Like, come on now. So, let's see. So, I think we've said enough on that. Oh, and this is another thing. You know, this guy, derp, 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 and the corrupt, secretive way Nationwide Arena was so dumped on the taxpayers. And I said, okay, and ... question mark. At least the taxpayers are getting something out of it, something you can be proud of. Blue Jackets games are awesome, way better than going to the shot. And don't act like the taxpayers didn't prop up the shot. Talk about a bad deal on that one, and which they did. The taxpayers did prop up the shot. So take your pick. You can either have the Blue Jackets or the shot, and I'm taking the Blue Jackets. Hey, at least the taxpayers, at least they're getting something out of it, for at least in regards to the Blue Jackets. They actually get an awesome place to see a game, something that they can be proud of, that gets Blue Jackets games and gets big time concerts and conventions and has had political events there. And, you know, Joe Burrow owns a volleyball team now, the Columbus Fury, and you can see volleyball games there. Blue Jackets games and a whole bunch of other stuff. You're actually getting your money's worth for this. You're actually getting something out of it, something that you can be proud of. You can't say shit about the shot. You can't say that. 9 times out of 10, talk about the shot in person, or in this case on social media, like Twitter. And guess what? 9 times out of 10, you're going to find that people do not like the shot. They hate it. It's awful. It's too big for basketball. It's too big for hockey. It's this. It's that. So who got the better deal here? Taxpayers propping up the Blue Jackets instead of propping up the shot in Ohio State, because you ain't getting shit on that. You paid for a shitty building and you're getting really nothing out of it. Whereas if this right here with the Blue Jackets, yeah, you're actually getting something out of it. It's actually worth your time. It's worth value. You're getting value out of it. You're getting something out of it. Oh boy. Anyways, I think I've said enough about that. So last couple things here, because I've kind of gone on a little rant here. Oh God, we've been over 3 hours, but you know what? I've had a fun time doing this. Let's see here. A little Blue Jacket stuff. Yeah, we'll go to the Blue Jackets Twitter page, because I did see something that was pretty funny, because there was recently Pi Day. Let's see here. I'll put this up on the screen here. So right, where is it? Right here. So of course, it was Pi Day recently, and I guess what you would call the social media admin for the Blue Jackets had an idea to have different Blue Jackets players pie her in the face because it was Pie Day. And we're going to play that video.
Dude, what's Pie Day?
So today's Pie Day 314. To celebrate, we had the players pie the social media admin. Here's how it went.
Well, you don't have to pick that much.
I can't do that. No. I'm not doing it.
Oh, come on now. Get in there. That was weak. Come on now, Sean Monahan. That could have been better.
Here we go. Happy Pie Day.
You're joking, right? All right, fine.
Look at Adam Fantilli chugging. He's chugging the whipped cream. That's funny.
You asked for it.
Oh yeah, look at that. Look at that. Adam Fantilli getting right in there, giving her a good pie to the face. That's how you do it. Good job, Adam Fantilli. Oh my goodness, let's back. Oh boy. Oh my goodness, that she really got it pretty good there.
Enjoy. Just load it up.
We got Mason Marchman.
Yeah,
How much?
it's up to you.
Pretty good, though.
What's going on?
It's Pie Day
Got Miles Wood.
next week.
All right. So what do I do? Just load this thing up? Are you serious?
Yes.
It's gonna get on your shirt.
It's okay.
Oh my goodness, look at that. Miles Wood gave it to her pretty good. Look at that. Gave a good pie to the face.
Oh my god. This is not my idea.
What do we got going on?
Oh boy. Don Waddell is like, oh my goodness, what's this? What is this nonsense?
What you do?
It's Pie Day next week.
This is crazy.
Oh my god. Oh, I can pie you?
We got Dante Fabro.
Yeah. Well, you don't have to, but
I'll do it. Oh, it's all over the jacket. There you go.
thanks.
Might want to clean your face up. See you guys. Have a good day.
Oh my goodness. Oh, we got chugging it.
Oh, you?
Yeah.
Easy.
Oh, that's Igor Samola.
This is the best one. Really?
Mhm.
What? Sorry, Lauren.
Oh, Zach Wierenski.
You never.
Never pied someone. Oh, I did. With one hand? Does that hurt?
Nope.
Pie all over you.
It's up my nose.
What are you doing?
Elvis Merceikens. You know, he doesn't seem to be very fond of this idea.
I can't do that. Stop.
I think we're good.
What? Alright, I'm gonna be gentle. Alright? Don't hate me. Oh, the jeans. So bad for me.
Oh my goodness. Ah. Oh, that was good. That was good. That was some good stuff right there. That was some good stuff right there. Let's see here. You know what? I think You know, we'll talk about this for a little bit. So, I just want to say that Kent Johnson has been playing much better ever since he got benched. Because most of this season, Kent Johnson, it was a C at best. And that's being nice about it. It just, for the most part, really wasn't there. Sometimes he was good. Sometimes he was bad. It just wasn't the Kent Johnson that we saw from last season, which was the 2024-2025 season, where Kent Johnson played a real good game, really good season, and, 24 goals and 57 points and just really good. Really broke out that season, really good. Played really good on the second line, just really good. And then to start out this season, it was just kind of there, and he didn't really do anything. It's just kind of there. And for the most part, he's just been kind of terrible and just kind of there. He has been good in the shootouts, so that's good. And people say, oh, why is Dean Evason benching him? He should play him. Or why is he on the fourth line? And it's like, have you seen him play? Because if you did, you know why he was on the fourth line or why he was benched. And then people freaking out again, when, he gets benched by Rick Bowness. Oh, why is he doing it? And it's like, again, have you seen him play? It hasn't been very good. It's been terrible. But then I think Kent Johnson, in my opinion, got the message. He got the idea that you have to be better. And he has been better. We are seeing more of the 2024-2025 Kent Johnson, which the Blue Jackets desperately need. They need that Kent Johnson. They need that Kent Johnson to be that Kent Johnson, the 2024-2025 Kent Johnson. The Blue Jackets need that. And ever since he got benched, Kent Johnson has been that Kent Johnson. And that's great to see because the Blue Jackets are better when Kent Johnson is playing good. And that's the truth. And now that he's playing good, the Blue Jackets are doing better. There's many reasons why the Blue Jackets are doing better, but Kent Johnson playing better, doing good, is one of those reasons. So, he's playing really good on that second line. Sean Monahan and Connor Garland, really good. I know he's had some chances, hasn't been able to put them away, but he's getting there. He's getting there. You keep playing like that, you will get those chances, you will put it away, and you will score those goals. You will do it, Kent Johnson. You keep going, you're going to do it. You're going to do it. So just keep going, keep playing, because it makes it easier when you're doing good, and then it helps balance things out. Because that's what's happening right now, is that generally speaking, it's a more balanced line. Balanced out lines for the Blue Jackets. Not just one line, it's every other line. They're getting Cole Sillinger, Kirill Marchenko, Adam Fantilli that's been good, and obviously the second line, Kent Johnson, Sean Monahan, Connor Garland has been good. Third line, Charlie Coyle, Mason Marchment, Matthew Olivier has been good. Fourth line, Boone Jenner, Isaac Lundestrom, and then, sometimes it's Danton Heinen, sometimes it's Miles Wood. That's been good, which is better. And I'll just say this. I just wonder if people like a Kent Johnson or just people like him in general, if it just takes some time to get used to it, a little learning moment, that where a guy like Kent Johnson, more likely than not, has probably been the best hockey player that he's been every step of the way, probably from like youth hockey, and like doing pee-wee, and then probably playing probably like a junior hockey or like a high school hockey, and then he goes to Michigan and he does real good there. And then you get to the Blue Jackets, and you're okay, a little good, a little bad. But like if you think they're just because of that skill that got you there, it's okay. I can take a night off, I can slack off, it's okay, this or that, whatever. And then he's learned the hard way that no, you can't do that. Because like your skill and you being good at hockey, that's what got you to where you are right now in the NHL playing for the Blue Jackets. But that's only going to take you so far. Because I believe if you continued on the trajectory that you were doing, where you were just kind of there and it was just kind of inconsistent, sometimes good, sometimes bad, and then back to good again, you probably would have been one of those players that bounced around the league, played for teams, and then eventually you just stop playing. You're done, and then you'd be like, "Oh man, whatever happened to that Kent Johnson guy?" Oh yeah, I remember that guy. He was a good player, but what happened? Because those are the types of players that it happens to. You're good for a little bit, but you're not consistently good. You don't put in the work all the time, and eventually, you bounce around teams, and eventually you're out. But I do believe now, with this most recent benching that you've gotten from Rick Bowness, and in my opinion, you understand that every single game you need to give it what you got. 100% balls to the wall, 100% effort all the time, always trying. Because if you can combine what you have with your outstanding hockey skill, you're good, really good at shooting the puck, hockey IQ off the charts. You can see plays that other players can't, and you'll make a good play out of that helps sets up a goal. And you're an underrated shooter too. You can score goals, and you have an underrated shot. You've scored some goals that were awesome, and it's like, whoa, how did he do that? It was a big shot. How did he do that? And who can forget the Michigan goal that you scored against the New York Islanders, in which the Blue Jackets won that game in overtime? And the big reason they did, because you got the Michigan goal in that game. And it was awesome. And now we're seeing that now. You're combining all that skill, all that talent, that high hockey IQ, that awesome passing ability, and your underrated shot. And we're putting that together with the work ethic and the hustle and just the ability to just grind it out and always work your ass off, and the attitude to just put it all together. The work ethic, always giving it your best, 100% effort, working your ass off, giving it the best that you got, combining that with your awesome hockey skill, your passing ability, your hockey IQ, which is good, really good, and your underrated shooting ability. You put that all together, and you got yourself a real good hockey player. You're on that trajectory to be one of those guys, to be a guy that will be in the league for a long time and have yourself a good hockey career. Heck, even when Rick Bowness got here, he comes to the Blue Jackets. The Blue Jackets are having a practice, and he pulls a couple guys off to the side to talk to them. You were one of those guys, Kent Johnson. You were one of those guys. There's also, Kirill Marchenko, Adam Fantilli, Cole Sillinger. But you were one of those guys, Kent Johnson, that got pulled off to the side and said, "Hey, we believe in you. You're part of our team, part of our core, but we believe that you can do better." And Rick Bowness is right. He's been proven right. Kent Johnson can do better. And he has been doing better now ever since he got benched. And that's great to see that he's doing better because the Blue Jackets need Kent Johnson to do better, and he is doing better. The Blue Jackets are better when Kent Johnson is doing better. So, I think that's it for now. I've gone on long enough, you know. So, almost oh my goodness, almost a 4-hour show here. Kind of a nice little rant here. So, I'm going to say my final stuff and then get out of here. So, first off, you know, where is it? Like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. That would be greatly appreciated. Please tell your family. Please tell your friends. Like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Of course, you know, that's William, a friend of the show. Look at him, a great suit and tie, looking good. But, you know, yeah. Anyways, I got to give a shout out to my awesome Uncle Doc, the best of the best. What a guy. You are loved and missed by your family and friends so much, including me. I miss you very much, Doc. I really miss you very much. I really miss you very much. I wish you were still here. Such a good guy. Such a good guy to be with. Fun to talk to. Always one of my favorite people to see at family get-togethers like birthday parties and holidays like Christmas and Thanksgiving and Easter and so much more. Just, you know, I really do miss you. I wish that you were still here. It was at least a year ago that I had a dream and I saw you in the store. And I was like, oh, and I really freaked out. I'm going to go to like, holy shit, it's Doc. And I jumped up and gave him a hug. And I never let go. And we're walking around. And it's awesome. And eventually he's leaving. It's like, don't leave. And I'm like, don't leave me, Doc. Don't leave me, Doc. And then I woke up crying. Because it's just like, wow. What a dream. That hits you really hard. It just did. I wish you were still here. But lots of fun times with you. You're a big hockey fan. And I love talking hockey with you. And you're a big Blackhawks guy, but the Blue Jackets became your second favorite team and because of me, and I appreciate that. I really do. So I wish you're still here so I could talk hockey with you. You know, so I could talk hockey with you and you could share your thoughts on how you think the Blackhawks season is going to go. You could share your thoughts on how you think the Blackhawks season is going, and I could share my thoughts on how I think the Blue Jackets season is going. So, a good guy and one of my inspirations and why I keep going. So, Shout out to my awesome Uncle Doc. I wish you're still here so I could talk hockey with you. Shout out to my awesome Uncle Doc. Thank you for everything. Ooh, where is it? So, last two things for me. So, next week's show will be on Monday, March 22nd, 2026, live on YouTube and Twitter at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Again, that's going to be Monday, March 22nd, 2026 at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. So check us out. Next show will be Monday, March 22nd, 2026 at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. And guess last thing for me is, check out Union Blue Soldiers. Check out Union Blue Soldiers. Follow Union Blue Soldiers on all social media platforms. We do fun stuff like marches and so much more. I'll play a video from different marches that we've had. So those are just different marches that I do with Union Blue Soldiers. It's a lot of fun. We bring Blue Jackets fans together to cheer on the Blue Jackets before every Blue Jackets home opener. I've also done marches before Blue Jackets playoff games. And if the Blue Jackets make the playoffs, I plan on doing another march before a Blue Jackets home playoff game. And if not, there's always the home opener. But if the Blue Jackets do make the playoffs, I plan on doing another march before a Blue Jackets home playoff game. So the marches that Union Blue Soldiers does, they're a great, fun event that bring Blue Jackets fans together. We march on from our bar to Nationwide Arena to cheer on the Blue Jackets. As you saw in that video, we've had Stinger show up. People who throw like the t-shirts in the crowd at Blue Jackets games show up. It's been featured on, ABC 6 News with Clay Hall, 10 TV with Adam King. It's been featured on NBC4, Whitney Harding, the Columbus Dispatch. There was an article, front page of the Columbus Dispatch, that had a picture of our the march we did in October 2019 right there. October 2019, I was on 97.1 The Fan to talk about the march that we've done. If you've been to a Blue Jackets game within, the last, what would that be? 8 years. Well, last 9 years, because 2017, starting then. If you've been to a Blue Jackets game since like 2017, there's a good chance that you've seen the marches that Union Blue Soldiers does on the scoreboard at a Blue Jackets game. So, a lot of fun. Check out the marches that Union Blue Soldiers does. It's a lot of fun. A great way to bring Blue Jackets fans together. And of course, one last time, check out Union Blue Soldiers. 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 Follow Union Blue Soldiers on all social media platforms. Check out Union Blue Soldiers. 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 So, that's it for me and Hefty Duck. So, thank you for watching the show. We'll see you next time. So, thank you for watching the show. Bye now.